All right. Hold on 1 second. I can tell my mic is messed up. Give me 1 second. Okay. No, that's still kind of... Oh, wait, hold on. What the heck? Hold on. Sorry, hold on. I don't know what's going on today. Check. I honestly... Okay, did it fix? No, it didn't. All right, hold on. Sorry about this. I know my mic's all messed up. Give me 1 second here. Okay, I think we should be good now. Sorry about that, y'all. I don't know what's going on. My mic all of a sudden was like at 100% for some stupid reason, and that's not how it's supposed to go. Yeah, as you can see, I hope you guys can see here, I might actually have to just go full screen with my camera, and I could do that in just a second here, but obviously my Derrick Rose hat on tonight. It is a big night, obviously. So congratulations, Derrick Rose. I'm very happy to be seeing that number one is officially in the rafters, so here is my memorabilia to him tonight. So we're gonna keep things a little bit short because I do think that tonight should be about celebrating Derrick and everything that he has meant to the Bulls, but also what he means to the city of Chicago. As I do think that the overall jersey retirement was well done. And I'm very happy that it's officially solidified in history that number one will never be ever. Well, no one will ever wear number one again for the Bulls ever again. So I'm very happy for that to officially be solidified into history. Man, I was very happy to see how many people came to Derrick Rose night, man, to see all the former teammates. I think we all know a lot of them. A lot of people showed up, which was awesome. That you know, we don't always see that anymore, and to see all of these former teammates show up was just awesome to see. To have Taj Gibson, to have Luol Deng, Joakim Noah, and Tibbs all talk, I thought was also very, very good. It was great to see everybody that we all know, right, to be talking. And it's funny, man. I thought it was hilarious. I mean, I guess there are technically people that actually do not know who he is, but like, even as a person that didn't, you know, I didn't get to see Derrick Rose's, like, I wasn't actively watching the Bulls when Rose was in his All-Star years, but even I know who Taj Gibson is because, I mean, you know, Taj was obviously on the Bulls for, you know, well, a little bit longer than Rose was, but I mean, you know, I started watching the 2012-13 season, and obviously Taj was on that team. So, yeah, it was funny when Taj Gibson like introduced himself. He's just like, "Y'all don't know me. I'm Taj Gibson." I'm just like, man, I feel like everyone besides like, you know, the very like newest generation probably knows who Taj Gibson is if they're a Bulls fan. But it was awesome just to see everyone there. A lot of people obviously were in the suites and everything that were former teammates that we all know. But to hear from Joakim, Luol, Taj, and Tibbs was awesome to see. It was great to see that everyone that Derrick brought up onto up to the floor. That was really cool. I will say Derrick he has an interesting way with his speeches, but you know, there's a lot of cussing going on, and he has some interesting stories that he finds some interesting sort of like kind of like, I don't know how to put it, but like he kind of like gets to a conclusion of some things very weird, but that's Derrick Rose for you. So yeah, it was cool to see everyone that he wanted to bring up there, that supported him through his journey up there, and to hear him talk. And yeah, we got to officially see the number one banner being hung up in the rafters. And thank God, bro, I got really nervous for a second. I genuinely thought the Bulls messed up when initially like didn't come off immediately. I was just like, oh God, please don't. Please, Bulls, like, if there's ever a night for you guys not to like mess up anything, like, please, tonight has to be the night. And they did it right, so thank God that they did it right. Yeah, it is official now. He's forever marked in history on those rafters, and I mean, no one else is ever going to wear number one ever again, but it is officially solidified now that no one ever will ever wear number one again. So, very good night overall. I was very happy to see how much support there was for Derrick, and how well the Bulls did with the ceremony, because I unfortunately have low expectations of them when it comes to this sort of stuff. But they did a good job. I'm proud of what they did. Great ceremony, yeah. If Rose doesn't blame Tibbs for the injury, we shouldn't either. Hey, yeah. If Rose isn't gonna blame it, then I think we all should have moved past at this point when it comes to that. But yeah, I think we go with what Rose has said. You know, I do think that when it comes to some things, that players definitely like aren't always right when it comes to certain stuff. But I honestly like I can kind of understand it when it even just like before, you know, Derrick said all that stuff. Just like I kind of get it why Tibbs was, you know, had him in there, but you know, I probably still would have taken him out. But yeah, if Rose is not going to blame Tibbs, then no one should blame Tibbs, honestly. No, we should just definitely be moved on from that part. Taj is a horse, grab those 2010 balls, all for sure, man. I mean, Taj, man, I will forever love Taj Gibson. He was genuinely just like, he was a guy that I just attached to when I started watching the Bulls, and I'm telling you, man, that 2013-14 season from Taj, like, I think people forget how good he was that year. Should have been sixth man of the year that year, probably. And went to Jamal Crawford, who I understand is Mr. Six Man of the Year, but like Taj that season was just incredible. And I don't think people will truly appreciate what he did that year. And yeah, he was also then on the Bulls for even longer than that and played key roles, starting off the bench. Could play backup center, backup power forward. Adjusted his game as the game grew, right? And I will forever love Taj for the rest of my life. So yeah, it was really cool to see him there. And we got the little Taj Gibson moment. I think it was last season, right? Where I think it was last season where he was on the Hornets and the United Center was calling for Taj to get checked in when we got that, which was cool. Oh yeah, you definitely, it's what you said right there, Woodage, yeah. Rose must have watched The Last Dance before coming out with all those F-bombs short and dropped, yeah. Look, man, I'm all for, like, you know, I mean, I swear all the time, I swear on this channel all the time. But it was definitely a little bit jarring. I was just like, oh, okay. But yeah, I mean, that's who he is, and he should definitely be who he is, right? This is his night, so, you know, if I'm just gonna hope like Chicago Sports Network like isn't gonna like fine them or something, you know, because of regulations that are gonna come after them or whatever. But yeah, man, like just let it go, and I'm very happy that he was able to be himself tonight. So really cool night. Bulls also pulled off a very crazy win that I was very much not expecting. I thought that they were honestly gonna get wrecked in this game. But the Bulls have a true magnet ball, honestly, go from 3-point range, and Kevin Huerter hitting that last shot was like, oh wow, it is a truly a special night tonight. Rose definitely gave some magic to this current Bulls roster, and that was cool, man. Just to see the entrance when Rose was introduced, when the ceremony finally started to begin, and just to see all those Bulls players that were still on their bench and they were all recording and they're just all there. Like, you saw Javon Carter immediately. I mean, Javon Carter, Chicago, right? Like, can you imagine how it must feel for those guys that are from Chicago, Io, Matas, like Javon Carter? Like, these guys are probably just like, oh my god, this is like the most incredible night of their lives. They won the game first and foremost, which was huge. But then they get to see like their childhood hero get retired live in person, and they got to play on his night. Like that must have been like one of the like best feelings ever. Yeah, that was overall just awesome just to see. Chicago did great. You know, even when the Reinsdorf's name was brought up tonight, there were a couple of boos, but we didn't hear the entire Chicago crowd boo. Which, don't get me wrong, man, I want to boo every time I hear Reinsdorf, but tonight's not the night, right? And so I'm very happy that we stayed respectful when it came to the Reinsdorf name tonight. But don't get me wrong, I hate the Reinsdorfs a lot, but this is a good job tonight by Chicago to not go all chaotic mode when Rose brought up the Reinsdorfs. You know, he has to thank them, right? But I understand. I understand everyone's distaste towards them. Actually, we were depressed if we lost this game. I think it, like, out of all nights, like, you know, as a person that is not very fond of this team, and I think the L's probably do help this team moving forward right now. I think tonight's one of those nights where it's just like, yeah, at the very minimum, because like, I did not think they were going to win this game just because Boston's very good. But I was just like coming into tonight thinking, don't get wrecked. just please just don't get wrecked. Boston's one of those teams though that like if their three balls going, and with their good defense, like I was very concerned that tonight, like out of all nights that you decided to do Derrick Rose night, you're like, yeah, let's face the Boston Celtics. I'm like, I don't know about this one, but it worked out well. The Bulls truly have a magnet ball in these last 4 games, and it continued on to tonight at a good time. So yeah, I'm very happy with the win. Kevin Huerter finding his 3-point shot in this game was, or I guess not fully, but like he hit 2 of 3 and he hit the big one when he's been horrific from downtown all season long. Couldn't come at a better time. So I was very happy to see that the Bulls did win on Derrick Rose night. Derrick Rose jersey retirement night, I should say. Bulls won on Derrick Rose night last season. When the Bulls faced the Knicks, the Bulls wrecked the Knicks that night. So we're 2 for 2 right now when it comes to D Rose nights, which means that, of course, next season, somehow, some way, we're going to have to make sure that we have some sort of Derrick Rose night so that the Bulls get an extra win, because they're phenomenal at Derrick Rose nights. So, yeah, I know that there won't be anything, but it'd just be very funny if somehow they found a way to do it. Yeah, good job by the Bulls tonight to take care of business at the proper time to make sure that the vibes weren't ruined heading into the ceremony tonight. Also, I want to say this. So, first and foremost, I want to bring this up. ESPN was there. If you're not aware why ESPN was covering the game tonight, then I'll leave you guys to do your own research. But I think a lot of you know. First and foremost, I just want to make this clear. What's happening out in Minnesota is absolutely tragic. And like I'm gonna stay out of politics, but somehow, some way, like I don't think this is politics at all. This is just straight up just like I think it's straight up Nazis right now going around. But for some people still make it political and be like, oh, your opinion is whatever. But either way, what's happening out there in Minnesota and the person that was killed today is horrific. But the reason why the ESPN was here today was because of what happened in Minnesota, and the game in Minnesota got canceled for today. So I actually, like, you know, it as terrible as that was out in Minnesota, I think it is cool though that Derrick Rose did get some national attention today. Because for some reason the NBA didn't have this nationally broadcasted in some sort of fashion today, or planned to have it nationally broadcasted. And I understand that the reason why it became nationally broadcasted is like it's because of a very devastating and tragic situation going on right now. And I'm livid as hell. Don't get me, like, if you want to know my stance about it, I am super mad with what's going on in our country right now. But with that being said, I am happy though that Derrick got to go on ESPN today and got to talk to Mike Breen and Tim Legler on national broadcast, because he deserves it. He deserves the spotlight nationally, and I'm just annoyed that the NBA just was like, yeah, this really doesn't matter for us to not really do anything with it. This is an MVP, man. Like, I understand that there are some, you know, jersey retirements that are like, you know what, like, it's not that important, but this is an MVP of the league, man. And I feel like the NBA could have done a little bit better when it came to the coverage about tonight. Because Derrick gave 16 years to this league, and was an MVP in one of those years. He marked Chicago again as a basketball city. Or, I mean, it's always been a basketball city, but he brought Chicago back to relevancy since the Jordan era. The NBA has a lot to be thankful for when it came to Derrick, and I was just a little bit annoyed with how the national attention wasn't really on tonight, really. But it's a big night, obviously. I understand it means a lot more to us, you know, in Chicago, but I feel like this shouldn't just be like about Chicago tonight. Like this should be like a big thing overall. And I'm, you know, again, happy Derrick got some national attention tonight. But the way that it all kind of unfolded is just, what's going on in Minnesota is just horrific. And what's going around this entire country is horrific. So, yeah, I'll leave it there because, again, I don't want to talk politics on this channel, but again, I don't even think it's politics at this point. So either way though, I'm very happy with this, with how Chicago did today. Chicago Sports Network with the Chicago Sports Network when it comes to their coverage today. Like I really do think that they did a good job today, all things considered. And the way that the Bulls handled the entire ceremony and planned it out, got people to talk and everything, I think they did really good tonight. It was better than Derrick Rose night last season, so I'm very happy with how the Bulls did their production tonight. So good job. Round of applause for me to the Bulls organization. I do blame Tibbs for this. You can blame Tibbs for this if you want to. I won't blame you if you do. But again, Derrick has his thoughts, so I would like to just follow his lead. 404 grown-up children. Yeah, again, I'm just gonna leave it there. I have a lot of thoughts. But anyway, let's talk about tonight's game. The Bulls continue to impress me in some fashion. So just to be clear, last time you're gonna be seeing a Derrick Rose hat today, but I have my Derrick Rose memorabilia represented tonight, but I have to take it off for now. I have a big head. All right, so let's talk about what happened tonight, though, with this Bulls Celtics game, just a little bit briefly here, and then we're going to preview the next game. And then I have an announcement for you guys that doesn't really relate to like new content or anything, but I do have to talk about it for moving forward. So, Bulls were able to take down the Celtics today. I was very shocked that the Bulls did this tonight, honestly. I think, again, like, you want to win on Derrick Rose night. And I think it's very important, to at least give a good performance. And I was very concerned that this was going to be a very bad game. Reason being was just because last time the Bulls faced Boston, it was a very tough overall. Like, it was a disgusting game between the two teams in last matchup. Like, both teams in the first half couldn't shoot the ball. Both teams were shooting like 30% or worse or something like that in the first half. It was horrific. But then in the second half, the Boston Celtics then just kind of got a big lead. Simons was on fire, and they won that game pretty convincingly. Tonight, though, the Bulls had an absolute magnet ball going from three-point range. I was utterly shocked at how well the Bulls shot from three-point range in that second half. At one point, I think they were 11 for 15 from three-point range in the second half alone, which is just ridiculous. I was just so shocked just to see how well they were shooting. And the Bulls, honestly, I think tonight, their defense, their three-point defense, there was some really good moments, I feel like, especially in the first quarter. I thought the Bulls did a good job closing out under control. And they were finding ways to at least prevent the Celtics from launching threes. The Celtics are not afraid to shoot threes, though. Like, we all know this. Like, the Celtics will take contested threes a lot, but you are doing a good job of closing out well enough to the point where they actually had to consider not launching it and maybe drive. However, with that being said, the Bulls' interior defense tonight was kind of fallen. The Boston Celtics are a team that doesn't score a lot in the paint. They're 27th in the league in terms of points in the paint per game, and this was an issue in the first half mostly, but throughout the entire game. The Celtics were getting into the paint, and so while the Celtics weren't shooting the best from three-point range, obviously tonight, and they were shooting 29% at the end of three quarters, the problem though is that the Bulls were giving up too many points in the interior, which kept the Celtics around. And that was a serious issue for this Bulls team throughout most of this game, was just giving up the interior points. Jaylen Brown was getting to the paint, and it may not have been restricted area attempts, but it was still just getting in the interior and finding shots to go in. And that was very, very annoying just to kind of see. But with that being said, the Bulls absolutely just lit it up from three-point range, especially in that fourth quarter, beginning of the fourth quarter, and that was the difference. I will also say that I do think that the Brooklyn Nets really gave the Bulls a little helping hand tonight, because Boston was in a double overtime game yesterday against Brooklyn, which is very weird, but they were in a double overtime game against Brooklyn. Now, Derek White didn't play, and obviously Derek White sucked tonight, so who knows, maybe he needs another day off, but everyone else, though, that you see here, everyone else played, including Jaylen Brown, who I think played 48 minutes. So I do think that it definitely helped the Bulls a little bit tonight, and so the Bulls can maybe shake the Brooklyn Nets' hands or something about giving them a little extra helping hand tonight. But yeah, it was definitely an insane performance, I think, overall from this Bulls offense when it came to the three-point shooting. We saw the continued good passing from this Bulls team overall, and we also saw this Bulls team actually get some blocks tonight, which is very abnormal for them, and I'm very happy to see that at least we're seeing more deflections and better shot contests, and then also some rim protection in some sort of fashion. One player, for example, that's been really solid recently, kind of getting some blocks, has been Io, and this is kind of something that I do think he needs to kind of maybe do a little bit more often, but he's been getting some blocks recently. He's had one in the last 4 games. So he's been extremely good on that end of the floor recently. I think Io's defense, again, wasn't the best to start the season. then he had to go through a little bit of injuries, a little bit into the season, and then he had the thumb injury. But since he's come back from that thumb injury, I think Io's defense has been very, very solid, and we saw again another like block tonight. So that was cool to see from the Bulls. And yet again, it's just win by committee, right? It is just everyone has to just chip in, and again, the Bulls are just having magnet balls recently because they've had at least 23s made in the last three of the last 4 games, and in the other game against Minnesota they had 17. So it's just incredible 3-point shooting. Kobe White is definitely going through his best stretch of the season right now, which is good to see. He's finally like coming alive with his season here, and I'm happy to see him finally start looking like his scoring self. It's still not like, there's still some issues we're having with Kobe, right? 4 turnovers tonight, not good at all with those sort of turnovers. Like there was some pretty sloppy turnovers, but he's at least showing his scoring ability. His pull-up jump shot is working. Hit 2 threes early and I was hitting some threes later. Very, very crucial when it comes to the Bulls' overall scoring ability, and he led the team in scoring tonight. So it's still again not the most efficient, but Kobe again has not been the most efficient player all season long. But this number here is the most critical. You can make up for like a not the greatest shooting night, like you can shoot 37% from the field, but if you're hitting your threes, it brings you a long way. So the 3-point shot recently for Kobe, he is knocking them down. It is good to see. I hope to see more of this moving forward because we have a long ways to go with him kind of getting back on track, but the percentage is climbing, which is good to see. So this is the percentage after tonight. But again, he said that he wanted to shoot 40% from 3-point range this season. That was a goal of his. Well, we're getting closer. But we still got ways to go. Also, I think that like the unsung like MVP of this season for the Bulls is Jalen Smith. Like this man has done a lot of good, just overall impact throughout the season, and we saw a good impact again today. He's played really well, including in this double big lineup. So big props to him. Vooch had a pretty nice night overall from the field. Giddey definitely didn't look the best in his return. Like these 5 turnovers from him were not that great, and then he had 10 assists to go along with it with 8 rebounds and 4 points. Again, I'm not gonna be too critical of him as he kind of works his way back, but the one thing that I will just always say, unfortunately, this just goes for everybody, whether you're coming back from injury or not. This right here needs to get cut down. I understand the Bulls are winning recently. The problem is as much as I want to be like all hyped and everything of like, oh, hey, the Bulls maybe are turning a corner. The only issue I have is just that the Bulls have been making 23s a game basically in these last 4 games. I would expect you to win. And the fact that the Bulls almost lost this game when they made 21 threes is like, it's almost like more of a concern for me moving forward. About like, okay, like there is no way basically that this is sustainable. And so I'm a little bit more concerned, and the big reason why I'm concerned is like this sort of stuff. Before Giddey got injured, his turnovers were ridiculous. Like it was a lot of turnovers for him. Now, in the previous game he was all right. He didn't like turn it over badly, but tonight was pretty bad from him when it came to the turnovers, and he needs to find a way to not do this. Forget about the points and like all the other numbers right now when it comes to him, just because like he's getting back into form. So again, like bad shooting night, 4 points. I'm not really too concerned about that. Like I'm willing to cut him some slack about it, but this needs to get figured out. These 2 guys, like I can't have you both combining for at least like 8 turnovers per game. That's just not going to work. And I feel like a lot of tonight was just like we need to clean this up moving forward. But hey, I'm just glad at least Giddey's out there, so that's good to see. Last but not least, we have to give a shout out to Patrick Williams. I knew that the Bulls, it was truly like a crazy night going on when Patrick Williams had the dunk on the baseline. He drove with full intentions to dunk it, right? For the first time in a long time, I feel like Patrick Williams was able to drive the ball effectively and go at the rim and actually with full intentions to dunk it and make the dunk. I I was just like, oh my god. It's been so long since I felt like Patrick Williams was able to dunk it, and like there's like some traffic around, because Patrick just sucks at dunking. But it finally was like, hey, this was cool. He also hits a couple of threes, 2 crucial threes in the fourth quarter, and he also made a left-handed layup. So it's not gonna like save the season or anything for him. This dude is still shooting under 40% for the season, which is terrible. But hey, he gave some like impactful minutes off the bench for once, which is just like a rarity this season. So sorry, I just want to see here. Yeah, I don't know if this is updated with tonight, but still, it's either he came in tonight shooting this, or even after tonight, he is shooting 55% on dunk attempts, which is just like, I don't get it. That doesn't make any sense to me. But all right, I guess that's what we're doing. So, yeah, decent stuff from Patrick Williams tonight, and honestly, pretty good overall with his minutes. So I'm hoping to see some better play from him moving forward, but yeah, we know how this goes with Pat. So, but it was just crazy. Like, I legit was just like, I was stunned when he dunked the ball tonight. I was just like, wow, like it must truly be special tonight. Like, Patrick Williams made a dunk in traffic. Like, it wasn't on a fast break opportunity, it was in the half court. Like, oh my god, this is a rarity. Like, we never see this anymore, because Patrick can't dunk the ball. So yeah, insane. And then last but not least, as always, Kevin Huerter, again, incredible timing with this shot. This man has struggled mightily from 3-point range, man. It has been an absolute struggle for a well-known shooter. This is rough. Like, in terms of like the entire seasons, right? Like, even last season he didn't shoot this bad overall for the season. Because when he got to the Bulls, he kind of saved his percentage a little bit. Now the problem is that this season so far, it has been, and this is after tonight, it's been rough, man. But Billy Donovan had him come in on that last possession. Bulls did a good job of understanding the rotations that Boston was gonna throw at them. They had Derek White sell out on Jacoby White because they all thought he was gonna take the jumper. And that left Kevin Huerter open in the corner, and he knocked it down at the most opportune time. So big shout out for that clutch shot. Again, it's not really been the best season for Huerter, honestly. It's been kind of a struggle, especially recently. Because like recently, there's just it's not even just like, oh, he's not just hitting his threes or whatever. It's like he's having bad moments of like not rebounding, and he's even like missing some shots in the interior. Like it's been kind of like a big like, oh no, kind of play recently from Kevin Huerter, but big time tonight, right? So with Trey Jones being out, the Bulls are going to need Kevin Huerter to at least provide some quality minutes, and tonight he did just that. So and obviously hit the biggest shot of the night. He's gonna have to, though, I will say, because like I was a little bit kind of shocked at how Billy Donovan did his rotations just like a tad bit tonight. It might be me being a little bit too critical, honestly, but I do think Io needs more minutes potentially, and I mean, Io's been just absolutely incredible all season long. So Huerter needs to perform, or else I feel like that this guy needs to just take those minutes, because Io's just been incredible all year long. And you know what? Make sure that this man still at least gets like 32 to 36 minutes per night, because that is definitely necessary. Going on, Delaware, what an emotional night. Definitely very emotional tonight. Yeah, if you want to hear my thoughts in the Derrick Rose jersey retirement ceremony, I talked about it earlier in the stream. But just TLDR, I thought the Chicago Bulls organization did well tonight. I'm very happy with how everything was done. Chicago Sports Network did pretty well with it. Glad to see that Derrick just got to be himself, and glad to see everyone, all his teammates back. It was cool to hear his former teammates talk and everything. So yeah, it was overall just a really well done night. Don't know, Viper Strike, what's going on? Arrow, what's going on? Appreciate you, Duncan. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all a lot. Yeah, appreciate y'all still tuning in. It's late, obviously. This is a late time to do a post-game stream and everything, but obviously it's a very special night. I did also, I mean, again, I don't know how many you are just checking in now, but I did have the hat on. Hope you guys can see that on stream. I did have the hat. I do not have a shirt, unfortunately, that fits me. That's a Derrick Rose jersey shirt. It just doesn't fit me anymore. I could squeeze into it, but I'd be suffocating myself. But yeah, so I did not have that, but I had the hat, and this is honestly like, I swear to God, like this is like one of the most clean hats I have. In my younger years, I was a big hat collector, and this is like one of the most clean hats I have. It's really cool. So yeah, I do have my Derrick memorabilia for today. Good game. It was definitely a good game. Very, very impressed with the shooting, I'll say. Legit think this is the best game I've seen them play. I think for this season, trying to think of like some pretty like overall solid victories. I know it's definitely not recent. Like, I mean, maybe like the Clippers game, maybe, but I also know the Clippers were just like dead that night. Like that might be like the most impressive game, honestly, but I think tonight might be up there with how well they've played. Tonight it might be that. Herder played good D today. Also, I do think Herder overall played some decent defense today. It's not been that case recently though. Like I know Herder's been really struggling on the defensive end recently. That's why Donovan, like I don't know who was against. I think it was against Minnesota. But like Donovan, like basically like he wasn't really even much in the rotation, I believe. So yeah, it's gonna come at a better time with Herder. It's just like Trey Jones is out. Like we need your help. Good job, honestly, tonight. Sorry, I just want to double check if I just want to be spitting false info. Yeah, I mean Herder got 7 minutes last game. So yeah, he's definitely he's doing things at the right time right now. Which is huge. Because yeah, no Trey Jones for at least the next 2 weeks, probably longer. It's probably gonna be next 4 weeks for Trey Jones with his hamstring issue. Rose hat looks awesome. Seeing Adidas is selling one of his shoes right now. Yeah, and obviously like the Derrick Rose brand was through Adidas, and yeah, I mean first and foremost the logo is awesome. But yeah, I'm not shocked to see that Adidas is selling that stuff. I feel like the defense today impressed me. The 3-point shot was clearly the focus, but they also didn't do bad having some inside defensive presence. So that's kind of interesting. Like, I feel like that overall, like, the Bulls in the first quarter, like, they did a decent job with their 3-point defense and also closing out and not closing out on roller skates and giving up some like easy shots in the interior. I do think that in the second half, I was less impressed with the 3-point defense. Honestly, I thought Boston got a lot of looks. It just didn't go down. But I will say that I do think that the interior defense, like I talked about earlier, like there were some block shots tonight that was like really good to see. Like Io, for example, like Io has got a block shot tonight, but he's had a block shot in the last 4 games. Like we're seeing more deflections from this team, which is good. We need to see more of this stuff. But yeah, I do think that overall, like the first half, like the first quarter was good in terms of like the 3-point defense, but like what we saw with the Bulls giving up the inside shots in like the second quarter, the Bulls, if according to, at least if I'm remembering correctly, like the Bulls in that second quarter I think gave up 16 points in the paint to Boston. Like that's not good. I could be wrong though. Let's see here. It doesn't show. I mean, you can just see like in the second quarter shot chart, like you can just see the amount of interior shots the Boston Celtics had. Like, yeah, it makes. Yeah, I think they did have 16 points in the paint that quarter. Like this was a bad overall quarter with their interior defense. I do think that in the third quarter it was like all right, and then fourth quarter I think it was a little bit more of a lockdown in terms of the interior defense, which was good. I think we need to continue seeing better rotations to not continue to give up so many points in the paint. Because, again, the Bulls have unfortunately been giving up points in the paint all season long. Bulls have had 3-4 game winning streaks this season. It is honestly insane. Yeah. It is honestly insane that they continue to have like these like little streaks. Like I honestly think now, at least with my calculations, like I think the Bulls actually should probably be winning this next game against LA. Now granted, like Luka could just torch us. Like I mean, I understand very clearly that like Luka could just like come back and just like, or come in and just completely destroy us, and it's just like, okay, you guys never had a chance. Like hell, the Mavericks were up like big on the Lakers tonight, and somehow the Lakers won tonight. And Luka did, yes, have another good game, but so who knows? But I actually think the Bulls should probably win against this Lakers team, because the Lakers defense is actually pretty garbage. So I think the Bulls should be able to win that game, but who knows? But as always, though, I do think that after that 5th win in a row, I do think the Bulls are going to go back on a losing streak. One, because we're going to be facing Indiana for the 3rd time, and we've never won against Indiana all season long for whatever reason. And then we're going to face Miami 3 times in a row, and I just expect Eric Spoelstra to win this little 3-game series. So I think that it's going to be a win against LA, and then we're going to somehow lose to Indiana again, because for some reason we can never win against Indiana this season. It doesn't make any sense. And then we're going to probably not win the 3-game series against Miami because Eric Spoelstra is going to be coaching, and he's always outcoached Donovan, unfortunately. So I unfortunately, as much as I want to believe that, like, oh, the Bulls are going to, like, hit a nice stride, I don't. I hate to be that sort of guy. I know that people want to say pessimism. Unfortunately, these, as cool as these games have been, the Bulls are just have an absolute magnet ball going from 3-point range recently. And I'm like, okay, well, I mean, if you're gonna hit 23s every game, then yeah, I expect you to win every game. I just don't think that's gonna continue. We've seen rough stretches from this Bulls team before when it comes to the shooting. So I mean, the Bulls could get like the best looks in the world, and I'm just like, okay, well, there's just gonna be a night where you just don't shoot it great, unfortunately. And that's just how it goes. But yeah, I think against LA, they should destroy this LA team, at least in my opinion, because LA's defense is garbage. They don't have, like, they legit only have, like, Marcus Smart as, like, their good defender. And I think the Bulls' pace should be able to outplay Luka's incredible and magic stuff. Like, I do think that the Bulls should be probably winning this. However, of course, I could be wrong here, and I could just be watching Luka just torch us, and we can't do anything about it. So we will see how that's going to work out. But yeah, 3 4-game winning streaks this season is just weird, and I honestly think it should be a 5th, a 5-game winning streak. So it'll be 3 5-game winning streaks with this team. But yeah, we're still gonna be hovering around 500. I don't get it. This team is just ridiculously stupid. Trade deadline's looming, so who knows what's gonna happen. LeBron and Luka can't get out of each other's way, which gives the Bulls a chance. It does give the Bulls a chance, but it's more so, at least in my opinion, because LeBron doesn't play defense. So, at least at this point in his career. Lakers live and die by Rui. He has to carry so much defensive weight of that team, and that's a terribly designed team because Rui's not a good defender. The Lakers are carried by Luka's magic, and LeBron chipping in when he can, and mostly just the starters just to provide enough offense for it to work out. They are definitely missing Reeves. Like, I do think that the Lakers are very much missing Reeves right now because Reeves is not a good defender in his own right, but it really did make their offense look like insane. I mean, I think people forget again how good Reeves has been this season when he's been healthy. I know he's out for a while, but yeah, like this team just has no defense whatsoever. Like, they put Marcus Smart back in the starting lineup. Marcus Smart is like a shell of himself, but he's still like a good defender at least. But they don't have any defense going on for them. So again, if the Bulls keep up their pace of play, where Lakers are a much slower team, the Bulls are a much faster team. You know, they have terrible defenders left, right, and center. The Bulls should win this game. But watch it somehow not go that way. I'm scared Trey Jones being injured is going to make AK apprehensive about moving from Kobe. So, look, as much as I appreciate how Kobe has played recently, I still do agree, though, that I do think that right now, for what I have seen, I do think trading Kobe is still probably the best case scenario right now. I'm going to tell you right now, Viper Strike, I do not think AK is going to be trading any of these guys that he believes is like very important to this team and who they've labeled as the core of Giddey, Kobe, Asenge, and Buzelis. Like, I personally, I mean, you're not trading Buzelis, Asenge, or Giddey anyway, but I really don't think that Kobe's getting traded with what's occurred. I think right now AK is every like he right now thinks that, oh, we should go all in. We just beat one of the Western Conference finalists last season in Minnesota, and then we just beat the number 2 seed in Boston or against Boston at home. Like, he's probably thinking to himself, like, Giddey wasn't even starting. Like, oh, this team's great. Like, we're gonna be incredible. We should go and add in, like, you know, some extra pieces, some vets to help supplement this team, increase our interior defense, so we should be rocking and rolling into the playoffs as like the 6th seed or something. I mean, don't get me wrong, like, it'd be cool to see the Bulls get the 6th seed, but I think trying to make moves for you to be the 6th seed, it's just terrible roster management. Like, if you're gonna be making moves, it better be like you should be like in win now, like contention level status, if you're gonna be making these buy now moves. But instead, if you're making moves just to be like, okay, yeah, we're gonna just make sure we're in the playoffs, or we're gonna win the play-in tournament or whatever finally for the first time in forever, I just hate it. Like, we need to be making the proper decisions still. Like, people can be like happy with how this Bulls team has progressed, but you should also be very much aware that, like, we should not be like buying at the deadline right now. That's gonna be my biggest fear, honestly, when it comes to this deadline. I think Kobe is staying. With how he's played recently, and with how I think AK views this roster, I think that Kobe's here to stay. My biggest thing right now is that I'm very intrigued with what they're gonna do with, like, Io. Trey Jones is probably their best trade candidate. He's no longer be on the trade market, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. But I am like very intrigued with like what they're gonna do with like Io, because if they're gonna be keeping Kobe, at least with what I think they're gonna be doing, then I think they're gonna probably look to trade Io, but who knows again. And then Jalen Smith's the other guy that I feel like could be traded. So, like, I'm definitely concerned, because like it's now, of course, as always, there's definitely some fans right now that are looking at like, oh, we're back to being above 500. Like, oh, I mean, we should be all in on this team. Like, I'm sorry, I just disagree heavily. Even though we're above 500 again, we're still the 9 seed. Like, I don't know why that this is like still something that's like just forgotten. Like, we're still the 9 seed right now. So unless like we're suddenly just gonna be like, yeah, we're like this, we're all of a sudden gonna be like the 5 seed heading to the deadline, then I don't really see a reason why to buy. But no matter what, it does give AK the excuses now to go ahead and just kind of stand pat. And I think if there's any likely outcome, it's gonna be that we make like one minor move. Maybe it's like we trade Javon Carter or something, and then we do nothing else. So I'm preparing myself for the worst, and then oh no, after that, by the way, Vooch gets extended. that's what I truly believe is coming. So look, I'm celebrating the development. Like, I think again, Giddey's developed really nicely this season. Kobe finally looks alive, right? Like in these like past 4 games, like Kobe looks alive. I mean, I don't think Io's going to continue shooting this well, as of like 46% from 3-point range moving forward, but I could be excited about his development still. He's still having a career year. And Buzelis, I think, has done well. I really do think that Buzelis has done very well with how he's developed this season, and he's done everything I've asked him to do, right? My expectations were set heading into the season. He's surpassed those expectations already. So, or at least he has to maintain his numbers for the rest of the season, and I think he's done perfectly fine. But again, that does not mean that we should be buying at the deadline right now. I still think we should be selling. But my prediction is going to be we make maybe one minor move, like we trade like Dalen Terry, Javon Carter or something, and then we extend Vooch immediately. Ege doesn't want his way to be wrong way, so if it's a little bit right, he will keep it as long as he can. I really do think that we're going to be, at least, no matter what, we're not going to be selling at the deadline. That's at least my opinion. But yeah, Bulls need a 3-and-D wing, defensive big who could rebound and a go-to scorer. Yeah, the problem is though is that a go-to scorer is a star that we still can't find a way to get. 3-and-D wings are a hot commodity in this league. They're not, because like 3-and-D wings are not just 3-and-D. Like they're like solid in other areas as well as just like being very good from 3-point range or solid from 3-point range and also good defensively. They do a lot of other things as well. And then I think a defensive big who can rebound is like potentially gettable. That might kind of make sense for the future as well. So that might be something that I have to kind of look at as like, okay, that might be a win if we can go and get that. We use an expiring maybe to get that sort of contract. Maybe, I don't know. But again, you don't want to like do anything rash or anything like that. Orlando of us being 9 seed, is there low-key parity in between conferences? Very similar WL ratios across teams. So here's the way I personally look at it. Because the 8th seed, for example, in our conference is the Miami Heat, right? They're not 24-22. They won tonight's game. This is incorrect. So, or it has not updated. Okay. The Warriors in the Western Conference as the 8th seed, they're 25-21. Now I understand Jimmy Butler just got injured, but even still, like they're still better. Which means that, at least in my opinion, still the top 8. Like if I took the top 8 from the Western Conference versus the top 8 in the Eastern Conference, and even if you want to do the top 9, because like I honestly don't know who I'd choose between Portland and Chicago right now as like the better team. But if you want to like include the top 9, I still think that the Western Conference is still more of a dogfight than the East. Like it is utterly insane just to see that there's 3 teams with at least 30 wins in the Western Conference in the top 3 seeds, versus out East it's, you know, just Detroit. And it's because how good Oklahoma City is, right? OKC is just the best of the best, therefore it's like almost, you know, it's showing the tier gap between like them and the others, but then others are having a great season, and like, you know, San Antonio Spurs would be right on the Pistons' tails if they were in the Eastern Conference. They're just not. So that's just the way I personally look at it. But I do think that there might be a little bit more parity this season, just because of the Clippers have sucked for a large portion of the season. Now they've been great recently, right? The Clippers have been on a roll recently, but that's recently. Memphis is also much worse than I thought they would be, which is shocking to me. And then Dallas has also been worse than I thought they would be. So I think having those 3 teams performed under expectations has made it a little bit more kind of parity between the 2 conferences. However, I'd still choose the West. I still would choose everybody in the West right now as like, yeah, their top 8 is better than the East's top 8 right now. The East is still heavily bunched up. Now, the West, obviously, you can also argue that, but, I mean, again, more teams over, like, very clearly over 500 and have more wins right now. So, that's the way I personally look at it. No change is crazy. Again, if there is no, like, significant change, like, the thing that bothers me the most when it comes to this team and how people talk about it is, like, people are just talking about, like, oh, well, it's so great to see that this, you know, we're having like a similar record to like when Levine and DeRozan were here, but like, oh, it's all the young guys and everything. I'm like, okay, I get what you're saying in terms of like, yeah, it's better to be in this sort of situation with, you know, Giddey, Kobe, Buzelis, and others leading the team to what the record is now, versus Levine, DeRozan, and Vucevic leading the team to like a similar record. My problem is with that though is that the front office has said that they're trying to win, right? So, like, this is their way of trying to win. And right now, we're still just a mid team, which is, like, my biggest issue. So, making no significant change, whether it is, like, if the Bulls are truly going to be, like, buyers at the deadline, like, you better be, like, actually making, like, win now moves. Like, they're going to have to do that. But if we're just going to do, like, something, like, middling at the deadline, or we don't sell, which I think we still should sell, we should still sell at the deadline, it's just gonna piss me off even more, because it's just like I don't really understand what we're fully looking to do, because this is like what AK believes is supposed to be a winning team. Like that's my whole argument against like, oh, this record's like fine. It's like, no, this record's not fine. The front office believes that this team is supposed to be like one of the best teams in the East, and we're sitting in the 9th seed right now. Like, yeah, 4-game winning streak, but I unfortunately, as much as I want to celebrate like this 4-game winning streak, I'm just thinking to myself that we made 21 threes tonight and we almost lost. So I'm just like it shows still that there's holes with this roster, which is very clear. Like they're all in, right? Like this front office is like they're in on this. They're not selling. Like they think this is supposed to be a winning team. So I'm very questionable about like, okay, well, if this is truly the team, then I hope that we get some better overall play moving forward, or you better go and actually make some winning moves, some proper moves then. It still wouldn't, at least in my opinion, get this Bulls team to contender level status, but you're at least then hopefully making yourselves like a very clear better team. But I don't know. I do think standing pat is probably the worst possible option. Selling is the best option. Standing pat's maybe the worst option. I don't know. I go back and forth, like, because I probably even said last stream that like buying is maybe the second best option. Standing pat might be the worst option. I don't know, but either way, it's frustrating. I'm still just like frustrated with how it's kind of laid out. Lakers are worse than the record. Not gonna lie, I agree with that. The plus minus shows it, but also unfortunately, the Bulls also are, according to stats, right? The Bulls have also completely outperformed how they should be playing. Like the plus minus for the Bulls is, I mean, we're down here, right? Now Portland's similar, right? But like we're next to Dallas, and Milwaukee's obviously worse, but I mean we're below Memphis in terms of plus minus, and Memphis is 18 and 25, right? So yeah, I do agree that the Lakers should not be where they're at right now. Luka is like straight up carrying them to victories on some nights. But I will also say I don't think the Bulls should be here right now as well. They shouldn't be over 500. That say it. Net also, if you're wondering, net. It's not, if you're not just wondering about like traditional, like net rating also says that too. Like net rating says like, yeah, you guys are like right here. You should be like kind of where the Dallas Mavericks are probably at right now. Charlotte, by the way, like Charlotte, for example, like Charlotte should be better than they're at right now. Like that, I think Charlotte, honestly, I mean, I think, was it you, Woodage, that said that you think Charlotte might be like catching us? I think it was you, Woodage, right? Maybe it was someone else, but like I kind of pushed back against it initially because I was just like, I don't think Charlotte's gonna like catch the Bulls in any sort of fashion or anything like that. Now I still don't know because I think Charlotte is still behind Milwaukee, right? They're kind of close, but I mean Charlotte's playing well. They're like overall like net ratings and everything are like very solid, which like it should eventually start translating into wins soon. And so if the Bulls go on like a bad stretch, but Charlotte's like on a good stretch, like yeah, I could definitely see it happening. But sorry, I guess maybe it wasn't you, Woodage. It might have been Rozzy that said that. So I do apologize if I got the name wrong. But yeah, I do think the Bulls are probably worse than they yeah, I'm not even gonna say probably. The Bulls are worse than what they're showing right now. Which is, and in some sense it's good, right? I do think in some sense it's like, yeah, this is a good overall kind of development with the team, and they're using their pace and they're keeping their pace, which is going to help them get extra possessions, and you're seeing that they're winning like the small 50-50 battles within the game that they are able to like barely edge out opponents sometimes. However, as I think we are seeing with the injuries, and we're also seeing throughout some games, like it's hard to be sustainably good and consistently good. And throughout the season, like we've seen issues with this without better overall talent. Like you can have like the best system in the world, it's just you still need better talent. The Bulls defense, unfortunately, like as much as we want to try to like praise them, like their defense is still not good. This is still their defensive rating is on par with the Lakers, and we've already talked about how bad the Lakers defense is. That's still the problem. Now the offense recently has gone up in terms of like they're now officially like a average offense in the league, and this is for the entire season, by the way. It does help though, like I said, that if you're making 23s a game, then I'm gonna hope that your offense is like one of the best in the league recently. What is a winning move for AK is the question. That I don't know. Yeah, honestly, like trading for another aging veteran that is past his all-star years. I know that you want Zion. It's just not going to happen. I've been saying I think the Pelicans are not going to give him up. So yeah, it'll be something interesting for sure. Yeah, I agree with Noel. The Bulls are worse than the record. Do you think Io and Kobe has solidified their skills? Are they really going to be better? So Io shocked the hell out of me this season because he is having like an all-time like insanely good year. I didn't think this was possible for him. And so like when I thought that he like was kind of solidified, he's grown another level. With Kobe this season, like I know that like recently he's played better, but like I don't know honestly. I feel like with him, I'm more like certain that this is kind of more the norm with him. Like, you know, I understand he had 20 points per game last season, but it was off of like an insanely like ridiculous March and everything. This to me seems like the normal for him. It's like 19-ish points, some bad nights, some good streaks, which we're seeing recently when the 3-point shot's going down. Like, I mean, yeah, it's pretty nice. But when it's not going down and he's turning it over constantly and he's, you know, averaging career high in turnovers per game, like, not the best. I unfortunately think this is probably it for Kobe. I don't know if he'll ever get back, like, you know, can he get back to the 20-point per game mark? Probably. It's probably not gonna be the most efficient. But yeah, I think this is probably it, like as like him as a player. But again, I've been team trade Kobe for the longest time. I just now though with like the whole injury situation, I just don't know how it's gonna go. Like I just don't know how much value you're gonna get and everything like that. But I still probably would trade him at this point. Io is a more interesting case because like I would almost kind of wonder like how he would be starting this season. Now I know Viper Strike kind of said like he probably doesn't think that like Io would like increase his numbers or his production like drastically more, but I just like wonder like how Io would look as like a starter. Like he's averaging 14.4 points per game off the bench this season. That's insanely good. Like if he was starting, like would he be like shooting like 8 threes a game? Because like his 3-point shot is so lethal now. And again, I don't think Io is going to be shooting 46% from 3-point range like forever, but I mean, I think he's very clearly like a 40% 3-point shooter right now. But like if he would be like shooting like 8 threes a game, like that would significantly increase his production and his efficiency. So it does make me kind of question it. Like maybe this isn't it for Io. I do think Io needs to still like find more consistency with his defense. That's still an area for him to grow. But I do probably think that he's probably mostly solidified, and that a team probably looking to trade for him right now, it would be a really good decision to trade for him right now. A contending level team. LaMelo is straight up a negative on some nights, and some nights is prime Steph Curry, which explains their net rating to loss ratio. Yeah, that's part of it. But even with like some lineups though, with what I've seen from the Hornets, like there are some lineups with even with LaMelo on the floor that like the Hornets look like really solid. The numbers show it. I do agree. I think LaMelo has sold some games, but what they're building over there is pretty solid. I will say. Has been playing pretty well as of late. Yeah, I like what Charles Lee has done, man. I think Charles Lee is a really good coach. I still can't believe the Pelicans gave out a first for Derek Queen, man. It feels like someone has to be investigated for that. Oh god, don't even get me started on this, man. It's very funny that the Derek Queen hype has just suddenly died. Like, don't get me wrong, like there's still some highlights posted here and there, but like it just all this talk about this man is just like, you know, it's like, oh my god, like he's so incredible, and it might be the rookie wall hidden, but I don't know, man. I'm with you. I'm with you, Viper Strike. I'm just not like the biggest fan. So who knows? I might end up regretting it someday, but it's just like not that impactful. Okay, like this is pretty good, but he was minus 33 on the floor, got wrecked against Houston. This is solid. This is pretty good, but like that's nothing. It's like okay, it's okay. It's like okay, like this is nothing. Like, this is okay. So yeah, I don't know. I don't fully understand what the Pelicans are doing, which I also don't understand why they won't trade like guys like Herb Jones or Trey Murphy. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. Hence why, if you're wondering what, like, I mean, I've already laid out my reason why I don't want Zion here, but like, even if the Bulls were like trying their best, I'm like, they're not giving up Zion. Like, there's just no reason for them to do so. And also Joe Dumars is just like, he just very clearly isn't smart right now. Like, I don't know. I mean, I was a shooting guy coming into the league. Oh yeah, I'm very much aware. Yeah, yeah, he was off ball or combo guard with University of Illinois. I do wonder, like, if you started next to Giddey, how you would look. I will say though that he's probably best coming off the bench at like on like a good team, like a contending level team. He's probably best coming off the bench. Having that sort of guy that is very efficient off the ball, good role player. Can guard multiple positions off the bench. Like, that's probably the most valuable spot for him to be. But I do wonder. Like, it does make me kind of think, like, if Ayo was starting and he's, I mean, maybe he's not shooting this well, but like the way he's improved his 3-point shooting, his overall pick and roll play, again, he doesn't turn it over, and his efficiency continues to remain good. Like, I do kind of wonder how he would look. I know there's like this whole bunch of like analytic bullshit going on right recently, like on Twitter. I don't know if you guys saw that. There's like this whole post going on about someone calling him like the worst veteran rotation player in the league, which is just absolutely false. That's just he's not. But like, I won't lie, man. Like, when it comes to like this RAPM stuff, I don't trust that shit. I am a person that like does look at analytics from time to time when it comes to some stuff. Like, I do like take into consideration and value certain things, but I don't know, like this whole bullshit about like the 5-year RAPM when it comes to Ayo. I'm just like, okay, listen, bro. I understand that he's not going to shoot 46% from 3-point range from here on out. I get it, but to just act as if like he hasn't been impactful this season is just like, it's just a flat out lie. That's something that I will never understand with people. And how these, like, look, I'm a person that is definitely like, I value efficiency, I value some analytics, but this whole, if you're thinking that analytics is like, oh, it's like, oh, shoot the 3 over taking a layup, like, that's not what analytics say in the first and foremost, but that's also just not analytics. It's just like 3-point shot versus a mid-range 2 is just, it makes sense. Like, I mean, it's just simple math. But there's definitely some stuff out there that I'm like, even with myself, like, that tries to sometimes value some of this stuff. I don't understand it. Yeah, like Kobe for a defensive young center is what I want for a deadline. Ooh, okay. So we just straight up are just like, okay, we'll trade Kobe or a defensive center straight up, pretty much. And the Bulls would be stuck till they hit on a high level mid draft player. Yeah, I hate that. I don't have anything against him as his player. He is a shot in the dark, and I like shot in the dark players, but mana first. Wait, sorry, who are you talking about? Oh, Derek Queen, right? Yeah. Oh, I completely agree. And also giving up your own first for Derek Queen, like, it didn't make any sense. Yeah. The Pelicans are absolutely just, they're stupid. And also, by the way, the Atlanta Hawks also have the Milwaukee Bucks pick. So, it's just, yeah. Yeah. I don't understand it, honestly, fully, with why the Pelicans did that. They will regret it. I guess I should be more specific. It's giving up a pick in this upcoming draft is like the most dumbest decision possible. If you give up a pick, like, in the 2028 draft, which is already projected to not be like the best, like, yeah, I get it. Like, okay, maybe I can like kind of get behind it, which I still probably wouldn't get behind it anyway, but I can maybe get behind it. Giving up a pick in this draft? Oh god, only for Isaiah Stewart. Ooh, honestly, I mean, if that was offered to me, first and foremost, if you're wondering, I do value Isaiah Stewart a lot. The problem is, though, is just that the Pistons also value this man. He's a very important piece to their puzzle. Isaiah Stewart is a very good player. Which obviously, that would make sense with how how the Pistons have played this season. But Isaiah Stewart is a very underrated rim protector. Yes, he's small, but he's very good at protecting the rim overall. That's a good shout out. I'm trying to figure out a way in my head, Woodage, of like, why would the Pistons do this? Because the only reason why they might do this is because they're going to have to pay Jalen Duren. And I think Stewart's on the final year of his contract. No, he's not. Okay. So you'd be doing this just to shed salary cap space, I guess. God, how can I commit? Like, the Pistons don't need Kobe. Like, they just don't. Well, I'm saying if you just want to offer Kobe straight for defensive story is the only one I can think of. It's a good shout. Like, don't get me wrong, it's a very good shout. I'm gonna be with Viper Strike on this one. I just don't think they're gonna give him up. He's unfortunately just too big of a piece to the puzzle with how well they're playing, and he's also on a very like team friendly contract. I understand he's coming off the bench, but no, I unfortunately think that he's pretty locked in now. Again, I just, unfortunately, I can't figure out a way that I would be able to, like, yeah, the Pistons could use Kobe. Because, like, they already have Karis LeVert. Like, there's a reason why they signed him. So I just, like, I feel like LeVert and Kobe are just kind of the same, like, sort of player. Or similar, I should say. This is that Paul Reed as their third string, so it wouldn't hurt them too much. Well, I do agree with that. I think Stewart is just very clearly the better player. Therefore, I think that the Pistons are just like, there's no reason to give him up. They're going to need his size in the playoffs, off the bench or maybe even starting, essentially. Pistons need another scorer? I disagree, honestly. Do the Pistons need another scorer? I really don't agree with that, honestly. I'm just trying to figure this out. Like, Kobe will be the second leading scorer, but like Jalen Duren has been very good this season. Tobias Harris has been like the guy in like the trade market because he's not really been the best. Duncan Robinson has been a very nice piece to their puzzle. 3-point sniper. Ausar Thompson, which like I mean, yeah, I would gladly take Ausar Thompson for Kobe, but there's no way you're getting him. And then there's Stewart. Jaden Ivey has sucked this season. I am very much aware of that. Honestly, LeVert has kind of sucked this. I guess it's not really sucking, but it's a little bit less production than I thought he would give this season. Maybe? I have a hard time trying to convince myself this is going to be a workable trade. I like your thinking. I'm going to probably have to say here that I don't think that the Pistons give up go by Isaiah Stewart for him, unfortunately. We might be able to go get is Goga from the Magic. They gotta do something. That's a good shot as well. I completely agree with that. So if people are not that aware of Goga Batatse's game, he is a very good shot blocker. He's like underrated in my opinion in terms of like shot blocking ability. So in 16 minutes per game, he is averaging 1.2 blocks per game. Very efficient overall from the field. Honestly, hold on. Let me just really quickly look at this because like these are some more impressive stats than even I thought. I'll pull this per 36 just really quickly here. But yeah, that would potentially be a name that does come to mind. Is like, yeah, I could see that working out. Guys aren't gonna give him up. It's just something to think about. Yeah, I completely. I got what you're thinking, Woodage, and I love your thinking. Yeah, I love where your brain is. Always a good center, but the negative magic and negative spacing doesn't add to it. Yeah. So here's my thinking with this, because I've been trying to like figure out a magic trade for a while, which I understand that it's just like, oh, we've like lost the magic trades. Which I don't worry, I get it. Like it's been a whole weird time with Orlando and the trades that we've done with them, because we seem to always come out on the losing end. But I do think that Magic next season, like they're gonna have to try to figure out some ways to shed some salary, and so I've been talking about taking Jonathan Isaac's contract. And so money-wise, I think this doesn't work. Shit. God, I forgot how much Kevin Huerter was making. Shit. Okay. $7.5 million. God, this is so tough. Even this still doesn't work. Fudge. Wait, why won't this work? I'm very confused why this doesn't work. This the Hurtcat and the first thing right too. Oh, do they actually have to send out money? Oh my god, really? God. That's where they're at? Oh shit. Okay. Hold on. Sorry. Let me just see this. I just want to see. Yeah, so basically the Magic, because they're over the first apron. Oh, this trade would get them over the first apron. Oh my god. Okay. Alright, hold on. I just want to see the Magic's numbers here. Okay, I understand now. Okay, so the Magic, they're not over the first apron, but they are they're hard capped at the first apron, and so if they basically add in just like any money, it's like it takes them over, unfortunately. Which that kind of sucks. Okay. Coolio. Yeah, that's actually really annoying. I hate this. Okay, so just for shits and giggles, if I instead of put, we're not getting Anthony Black as much as I would love for Anthony Black, but this would work. Okay, I see. Wow, that's how stupid the first apron and the new CBA is. Okay, how the hell can we make this work? Because like the reason why I'm putting Jonathan Isaac is because if you look at the Magic's salary cap books, Isaac is on the books for $8 million next season. This is when Banchero's large contract kicks in. So like any money that the Magic can save is helpful. The Bulls can then they could keep Isaac if they wanted to. I personally would advise against that. I would just waive him immediately, and the Bulls would be not held liable for any of his contracts or any of his contractual years after the 2026 season. He's guaranteed $8 million in 2026-27. You just eat the $8 million that season. And you're fine moving forward. But yeah, this is unfortunately a little bit rougher than I thought it would be. We need the Magic to send out more money than I thought, and I don't know how that's possible, honestly. Tyus Jones doesn't even do it, and like I feel like they'd be maybe even pretty willing to part ways with Tyus Jones, because he's been pretty awful for them this season, and so just like, hey, yeah, take him or whatever. But yeah, it's gonna be tough. So I don't know how this would work out. Thoughts? Magic is cooked books. Yeah, I completely agree. DC is sort of in a sophomore slump, but if you split minutes with him and Collins might be able to go back to his rookie season numbers, which is like 8.8 and 1.5 blocks per game. So Misi does intrigue me as well. The problem is though, is like when I looked at like the Pelicans, like I don't know if how many of you seen it. I don't know how many of you are still here when I pull this up. But what I've been saying with the Pelicans is what I'm scared of is the Bulls get DeJounte Murray and Misi for like Kevin Huerter and Zach Collins basically. So if you guys want to see the trade, I'll pull it up for you. I'll do it right now. But it's basically like this is basically the deal. So the Pelicans, they're looking to like get off DeJounte Murray's contract. He, torn Achilles from last season, right? And so it's like, okay, well, Murray has another year after this season on his contract. We'll give you Misi, give us your expirings. Like, this is basically what I'm scared the Bulls will do. Like, don't get me wrong, like, getting Misi would make sense for this team. But getting DeJounte Murray makes no sense. Like, this sort of deal would piss me off a lot. This is what I'm scared is going to happen. Like, I genuinely believe that this actually might happen here. It's not a good way to use your expirings, honestly. Like, if you were maybe getting something else instead of DeJounte, like, I don't know how I would look at it maybe, but like something that's just not Murray's 30 million, then maybe. But I would hate it if this is the way that we use our expiring contracts. You should consider a trade for Tari Eason. The problem with Houston, unfortunately, and this has been the case all season long, they are like legit like at the hard cap. Like they're like right at it. It's almost impossible for them to trade for anything, because it has to be like within such fine margins. But they're basically like there's like no room for them between like the hard cap and how much space they have. Like there's like nothing. So like for example, like yeah, Kobe going to Houston honestly kind of makes some sense, right? They need kind of some help with their guards, sure, right? The problem is though is that this alone first and foremost doesn't work in general, but Houston is like the amount of money that they can like send out or take back in a trade is very, very small. So I mean, I don't even think this works, right? This doesn't even work. And when we're within $500,000 and this still doesn't work because Houston is like at the hard cap, which is unfortunate because like I unfortunately think that like Houston, like they should be a team to be making some moves. It's just the problem is that they just can't. Like, it is like a horrific scenario for them just because of the first apron. They're just not really able to like do anything. Yeah, it's just how it is, unfortunately. So if you're wondering again, first apron is here. They basically have $1 million to kind of work with a little bit. Yeah, I don't really know. It's very odd with how it would have to like kind of work out here. But yeah, Houston just doesn't have much space. If you're wondering why like this Kobe trade wouldn't work, I'm honestly with you. Like I honestly don't fully know, because it says they're only adding $500,000, but I'm trying to like understand it myself right now. Just like, why wouldn't that work? And it must be that there's some other calculation that is not being shown. Because like in theory, Houston should be able to take like a mil back, but even that wouldn't work. Apparently, hold on. Let me just go to Fanspo really quickly. I trust Spot Track more because it's run by Keith Smith, and Keith Smith is a much more cap wizard than anybody that I know. But also, Fanspo does give me some explanations sometimes. So the trade I just did was Clint Capella and Tari Eason. Hell, why? Oh, okay. That's crazy that Spot Track does it this way. Okay, so the Spot Track trade basically shows how much you're missing it for the trade to like even be legal, and so this trade would actually put them over the hard cap. Yeah. Okay. So this trade would put them over. It will put them over the first apron, which first and foremost they can't do that in the first place. You can't go over the first apron. Like when you're hard capped at the first apron, it is firm. But even if they were allowed to go over the first apron, it still isn't legal because they're sending out more money than they are receiving. So, or sorry, they're receiving more money than they're sending out. Therefore, that's immediately, like, even if it's by $1, it's immediately illegal because you can only take back 100% of what you send out. And so, unfortunately, it's not possible. Yeah, that's crazy. It's that fine line of a margin, but that's what we're working with here. Unfortunately, this trade just cannot be completed. Ugh, it is brutal. Yeah, I honestly don't know what Houston's gonna do because they just like don't have the contracts to kind of like make like a massive move without obviously trading like their key pieces. So I don't really know what exactly the options would be. Sorry, hold on. Let me try to figure out something here. Like the Magic have to make some sort of move here, right? Because they're struggling recently. Now I know that they're missing Wagner, and Wagner's like been their best player this season, but Banchero has sucked. I'm very much aware of that. I mean, like, weirdly enough, like I'd be like, yeah, we'll give you Trey Jones. Like, I feel like the Magic would gladly take him, but I don't know how this would work. Like, especially now with Trey being injured, it just feels like it's just not legal. Yeah, I'll have to honestly ponder about this and like maybe figure out maybe like a 3-team deal that would make sense. Because like I think if you told the Orlando Magic like this was the deal, right? Like you're like, okay, so let's cut a deal here. Now I don't know how much they value Patadze. Like, I honestly don't. And maybe they value him much more than I recognize. But the way that I look at it is that Mo Wagner should be coming back soon, unless he's already back. Maybe he is, but Wagner should be coming back soon. Which leads me to believe that he would be getting like the backup center minutes, which then would kind of kick Patadze out of maybe their even station minutes. Yeah, Mo Wagner has played. Okay, wait, here. Honestly, it looks like they're just playing all of them. Kind of weird. Okay, so you got 5 minutes tonight. Okay, honestly, I don't know. It actually seems like they're still fully using him, which is very odd. Okay. In 5 minutes, he has 6 rebounds tonight. Cool. Or I guess today, I should say. Okay. Well, either way, though, they're gonna have a bit of a logjam, with Wagner coming into the fold. So then, how the hell can I make this work? Because, like, Jonathan Isaac is very clearly a trade candidate. So then we have 5 million to work with. Yeah, I honestly don't know how this gets done. Ah, man. This is so tough. Like, would this even, like, intrigue them? I feel like this would just be terrible, and it doesn't even work anyway. Trey Jones wouldn't work. Sorry, I don't even know why I did that. It'd be like Dalen Terry, basically. Like, it would just have to be him. Which is just like, why would they do this? Like, there's really no oh, this doesn't even work either. Oh, wow. Oh yeah, I don't know. Sorry, I know I'm not really talking here, and it's kind of a little bit boring, but um, I have to figure. I'll figure this out. I do think that Patadze is a great idea. I just don't know how it gets done. I guess it just can't be Kevin Huerter, right? I think Huerter would make a lot of sense just to be like, if they could like get some shooting out of him, maybe. But I guess that just would be not the best idea, huh? The Bulls can take some money back. So let's just reset here. Will this work, by the way? Let's just see this. Okay, this doesn't. So, 10 million. Isaac Okoro. This is giving up too much for this. I'm just looking at it. Like, no way. I don't know. Well, it might be like a 3-team deal or something. Offer Pat the Blazers pick for Jones and Misi, and give the Pels a good laugh at us. The Blazers pick for Jones and Misi. Oh God, bro. If Joe Dumars accepted that deal, oh my God, he'd be investigating immediately. I'd be so happy. If I could get Herb Jones and Misi and get rid of the Patrick Williams contract, even though I'm giving that the Blazers pick, like, I'd be so happy if we were able to do that. Houston still got picks, I think. The problem, even though Houston does have picks, my point is just that I don't know how they're going to make trades just due to their salary situation. That's my only concern. That's my, like, biggest thing. I don't know how they get this. Honestly, okay, hold on. Let me think about this for a second here, because ideas are flowing. So let's do this then. This is just an idea just that came to my mind here. I don't think they'd want Dalen Terry. All right, hold on. I'm just thinking. I'm just thinking for a second. Give me some time. That wouldn't work. Okay. So my thought process is this. So like this deal alone, right? Kobe for Jonathan Isaac works, right? Let's say instead of it being like we have to do 2 deals in one, or like or do everything in one deal, we do it in 2 separate deals, right? It's like it's agreed upon trade, but it would work. At least I think it would. I'd have to run the numbers, but I think this would work. Sorry, I just have to do like a draft pick just to put something in there, right? But we have, right? We actually have that the non-taxpayer mid-level exception here that we could use to absorb Batadze's contract in like the first deal. Okay, so you'd be using the NTMLE as a trade exception. And you would make this deal separately, right? But then I mean, again, this is just assuming that this would actually work out, but then you're trading Kobe for Jonathan Isaac in the other deal. And so it would be Kobe for Jonathan Isaac and Goga Batadze. Would that be too much? Like, are the Bulls asking for too much? Maybe. So, like, I don't know, throw in a pick or something, like a second round pick or something like that. Wait, hold on. I'm thinking a lot here. Give me 1 second. I don't think this, like, if the Bulls are accepting this. I just don't know how to sweeten the deal, honestly. And the problem is, if we send any money in this sort of deal, then the Magic are just closer to the salary cap, or sorry, the first apron anyway. So it would basically have to be this, and like the Bulls would have to like sweeten the deal somehow in like either Julian Phillips going if they're interested, or you'd have to send out draft picks to like sweeten the deal, I guess. So I don't know. We'll just send 2020. So like this would be the deal. This gets done first, and then all right, hold on. Actually, I actually don't think this would work. Actually, shit, because of just how close the Magic are to the first apron. I guess it wouldn't work. Oh my god. Oh wait, okay, hold on. This makes it a lot easier just to see, because like I can separate Patadze already into the NTMLE, and then will this work? This does work. Okay, wait, this does actually work. Okay. Wow, my cat brain actually figured something out. Huh. I don't know. What do you guys think? If I'm the Bulls, I think I do this. You do it? Okay. I'm just, if we're in agreement though that the Bulls would do it, why wouldn't the Magic do this? I'm just trying to think of why they wouldn't pull this one off. Like, Dalen Terry is unplayable. I get that. Kobe would help though, in some sense. Like, he's not like the solution for like their guard struggles or their 3-point shooting full like all out struggles, but it is he would help though. Like he would provide some offense that they've been lacking, especially with Jalen Suggs being out. You're giving up a second. If you're the Bulls, Magic would take it. He would definitely help personally. What's the trade? The trade is Jonathan Isaac, Goga Bitadze, or Kobe White, Dalen Terry, and a 2029 second round pick from the Bulls. Now, to be clear, this would move Goga to like, oh, he's your starting center in the future, right? So that's the reason why I'm saying like I'd consider this, because like, yeah, Goga right now, as we've been seeing, like, you know, you're probably not impressed with these numbers, right? But he's coming off the bench all season long. it's not like it's not perfect numbers to look at, but like these would be per 36. It's like 13 points per game, 11 rebounds, 2.7 blocks, 1.7 steals, 68% from the field overall for the season. Like, he would be your starting center of the future, pretty much. I'm just trying to figure out if like if maybe if I'm being too harsh on Kobe and I'm like trading him for less than maybe he should be getting in return, because like technically, right, this is a bench player and the Bulls are also giving up a pick in this deal. So already I'm going to say, at least in my opinion, I don't think the Bulls should give up a pick in this deal. Because I understand that like Dalen Terry's not really playable, but you are trading the best player in this deal. Okay, it's good. The Magic Noah, it's just a situation is bad. Even Desmond Bain is taking less threes this year because they have terrible spacing. Oh, don't get me wrong. I'm very much aware with how like anyone that goes to Orlando just can't shoot. It's because Banchero and Wagner, like, they're not really shooters themselves. They take up a lot of space in the interior. It's just overall less spacing for everybody, right? When your stars can't really shoot it. And they have the ball a lot. Jalen Suggs also is like not known for his shooting either, so it's just like basically just a bunch of non-shooters on the roster. Hence then Desmond Bain, who is yes the best shooter on the team, but his percentages have fallen. And I mean, like, he's a better shooter than what he's shooting this. I know that for sure. With Bain and Kobe out there, I think that's something more spacing, and Kobe would suddenly have a good defensive core around him. That is true. Especially if Jalen Suggs is there. Like, having Jalen Suggs next to Kobe could be pretty impactful. Huh. So if you're wondering why, if you're like, you know, if you're like not that high in Patadze, like if you're like, oh, like he's a bench player or whatever, like why would we do this? Well, the first and foremost, like, I want our center of the future. Like, Patadze's 26, Kobe's 25. Like, it's, I mean, we're not really like getting that much older in this deal. Patadze also has an extra year of his contract. So Kobe, who is set for unrestricted free agency, again, could just leave for nothing. You're trading him for Patadze, who is going to be making less money next season than he is currently making this season. And so you get a player that has an extra year of control, and also on a team-friendly contract. I also think he would start, and he's basically your shot blocking and rebounding as an interior big that you've been missing. Collins has been injured, so he unfortunately has not been able to provide that. Vucevic does not play defense, and he's also not the best rebounder, even though he gets rebounds. Like, he's just, as a center, like he could be better as a rebounder. And you also get like your interior scoring that has been kind of lacking a little bit. Now, I'm not saying that Patadze is going to be a post-up option. I'm just saying that he's a very efficient player, right? Patadze, like, he actually can be efficient around the rim versus someone like Vucevic who can't. Patadze is shooting 68% from the field this season. So very clearly, like, he's just taking quality shots around the rim. Again, he's averaging 1.2 blocks per game in 16 minutes. Okay, he has averaged 1 block per game in the last 3 seasons, and his minutes have been 15, 20, and 16. Okay, this would immediately make him the best shot blocker on this roster, like automatically. He's been relatively healthy the last 3 seasons. It seems like played 62 games in at least 62 games in the last 3 seasons. In each season. Sorry. I mean that's personally what I'm looking at. I understand maybe why you're hesitant about this deal, but I personally think this is actually a pretty solid deal. For the Bulls, like for the Bulls standing. I can't really exactly tell like which team would like balk at it and be like, nah, like we're good. Like if we're talking about the front office, it's just like, yeah, okay, it's of course it's gonna be AK. It's like, nah, this is not a good deal. We want more for Kobe in return or whatever, which is just like, okay, shut up. For the Magic, I feel like that they're actually like looking for someone like Kobe, like how Viper Strike is saying. Now, I think that they would ideally like that person to have more defensive capabilities around him. But I think that they're desperately, like, with the way that, like, Tyus Jones has worked out for them has been, like, dreadful. Jace Richardson has played well for them, but he's a rookie. And, like, he kind of, like, gives some of the, like, scoring punches a guard, but again, he's a rookie. He's also 6'1". Kobe is at least 6'5". He's not a good defender, but at least he's not like very small for a guard. He has the ability to create some shots off the dribble. Like he can hit some pull-up jump shots. He can get to the rims like at moments. He's not the most efficient player I've seen, but the Magic are just kind of in a desperate need for kind of some scoring punch. And to add on top of all that, if you're wondering where the Magic are, they're here. And on top of all that, like, this isn't like the Bulls trading for like someone like, you know, not to shit on you, Woodage. Like, I'm not shitting on you with this. I'm just using an example here. Like, it's not Isaiah Stewart, who like is like a very critical piece for that Detroit Pistons team. The starting center for the Magic is Wendell Carter Jr. Which honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I've told my friend David about this, who's a Magic fan. I've told him like I don't understand why you're starting Wendell still. Like I've kind of made this clear to him. But I think the biggest reason why they are doing it though is because the Magic don't have spacing, right? But Wendell can at least like kind of shoot the 3-point shot. Versus Patadze, who doesn't shoot it, right? Patadze doesn't shoot the 3-point shot. Wendell's actually shooting it like decently this season. It's not amazing, but at least he can kind of shoot it. But he doesn't provide the rebounding or the shot blocking that Patadze does. And he's playing 30 minutes per game, and Patadze basically averages like, or nearly averages the same amount of rebounds per game. Or I guess he's 2 off, but I mean, like, again, 30 minutes per game versus 16 minutes per game, 5 rebounds in 16 minutes versus 7.5 in 30 minutes. Wendell's not even averaging 1.2 blocks per game. Patadze's averaging 1.2 blocks. All right, hold on. Oh, Bateem little shout out from Basketball Reference. Sorry, I'm interested in I want to look at his splits for his career. Sorry, I just want to see his starting splits. So when Patadze has started, unfortunately you can't see blocks per game with this, but is there a way I can see that actually? Anyway, when he has started, it has not been for that long though. He doesn't like play 30 minutes per game. So this is a bit of a concern, but he averages 9.3 points, 7.6 rebounds, shoots pretty efficiently overall in his time in his career. But he has 172 blocks in 98 games. I mean that's not 2 per game, but I mean that's pretty solid, right? 1.7. That's 1.75 blocks per game as a starter, and again, he's averaging 24.7 minutes per game as a starter. Which players currently on the Bulls do you think would be positive contributors to a finals contender level team? So I think Buzelis is the main guy easily. Buzelis has already been contributing this season already, but assuming that he gets even just a little bit better offensively and his shot blocking continues at this rate, and he's willing to launch a 3-point shot at will. Which, I mean, he took 10 threes tonight, by the way. I don't know if people recognize that, but Buzelis took 10 threes tonight, made 4, which is very good. Like, that's fantastic. Then that's already helping. As a 6'10" guy that can kind of handle the ball, but get some rebounds, can block shots. Like, he's already very helpful for a contending level team. I think, though, that if he can increase his scoring output and beef up a little bit and get some more rebounds and just be, thrown around a little bit less. I understand he's a sophomore, but I think he's going to be like a very, he might not be all-star, but he's going to, no matter what, be a very quality starter in this league, even on a contending level team. I firmly believe that. I think with Giddey, it's either going to have to be, he's not going to be in this role. Like, in my opinion, for Giddey, if he's going to be on a contending level team, a finals level team, it's not going to be in the role he's currently in. He's going to either have to be a starter that plays a lot more off ball and shoots more threes and can kind of be a Swiss Army knife that, does other things like rebounds and, can run a fast break well. But he'd be less involved in the half court offense. Or he'd have to go to be the sixth man and come off the bench and play this way that he plays now, but he'd be coming off the bench. He would not be the main ball handler though. But I think he can contribute, especially with his rebounding and his 3-point shot. Like that's very critical stats. And I think Io would be the other guy. Just what Io's doing this season is very helpful on a contending level team. Role player that is not does not need the ball in his hands to be effective. Can defend multiple positions. A very efficient guard though. Shoots above 50% from the field overall, shoots above 40% from 3-point range. And so like when he does take shots, he's gonna be efficient, right? That's critical on any sort of finals level team. After that, couldn't tell you. I think Kobe is again, definitely not in the role he's currently in right now. He wouldn't be a starter. But I won't lie, I even have some doubts right now about Kobe helping even off the bench right now. I don't really know how helpful he would be. Vucevic is not helpful at all. Jalen Smith is interesting, I guess, but it would be at a bench role. Again, it's not like he's going to be a starter. Zach Collins, unfortunately, he just can't stay healthy. Herter is someone I would personally like to move on from, especially because he can't shoot the 3-point shot right now. And then maybe Trey Jones, I think. Yeah, I could see Trey Jones being a helpful guard off the bench. He would not be playing as many minutes he's playing currently, but he'd be helpful off the bench for sure. But again, he wouldn't be starting. So if that answers your question, Smelly Garage Fluids, which I love your at. That's my answer personally. Which, if you're wondering, yes, the Bulls need a star, and the fact that I feel like the Bulls aren't going to find a star right now is very much depressing. But I try not to get too depressed on Derrick Rose night, Yeah, the only reason why the Bulls wouldn't want is because if suddenly Kobe becomes Maxey, then they will look dumb. Yeah. I personally don't think that's in the cards. I'm in agreement with you, Viper Strike. I don't think Kobe's going to become Tyrese Maxey, because Tyrese Maxey is something different. Who's Buzelis' best player comp? Jabari Smith Jr.? So in terms of what I look at him now, it's definitely not who I'm about to say, but what I think he can be in the future is Aaron Gordon is a very quality starter, really good defender, rebounds, some, and he contributes some offensive juice a little bit. Now, recently, though, with Aaron Gordon's taken like a massive leap in terms of his 3-point shooting somehow. I don't know how the hell he's done this. I don't know if Buzelis is ever going to shoot like 40% from 3-point range. Like, I don't know if he's ever going to do that, but I do think that like Buzelis can, get to like 17 points per game. It'd be maybe a little bit different than how Aaron Gordon does it, but I do think he'll kind of get there. He'll also average more blocks than Aaron Gordon. Like, it'd be significantly more blocks. He's already averaging more blocks now than Aaron Gordon has ever averaged in a season in his career. So, it'd be a little bit less on-ball defense from like how Aaron Gordon does it, versus like it'd be a little more help defense, off-ball defense. But I think Buzelis honestly recently has shown me that like in these recent games at least, like he can guard many positions. Like it definitely was a little bit kind of iffy at the start, like more of the start, kind of middle-ish part of the season, to this point. I know like we're in the mid-season right now, but yeah, I do think that he can still be pretty. He's showing me some ways that he's learning and can guard some like the smaller guys and still stay in front. So if you're wondering like kind of what I think of Buzelis, like this season right here is what I'm thinking is like probably where we might end up. Now, again, ideally, I'm hoping this points per game is like 20 plus, right? Like I would love if Buzelis can get to 20 plus points per game. Then like we're talking potentially all-star status, right? And if not all-star status, then like very good starter, like not just quality, like very good starter. Again, I think the blocks per game are gonna be higher. I think this is probably where I expect Buzelis to get his rebounds, like around maybe 7, maybe. And like these shooting splits, I don't think are honestly out of the world for Buzelis. I'm talking about this 2022-23 season here. Like I feel like these shooting splits that I'm looking at. Sorry, hold on. I didn't mean. Okay. These shooting splits, like, it might not be 56%, but Buzelis has actually been pretty good from 2-point range already this season. Like, the way that I've looked at Buzelis this season, like, he's not shooting the best from 3-point range. That's just not what he's very good at. He's like okay, like it definitely needs some improvement. But with that being said, like he's done very well from 2-point range overall. Sorry, I'm trying to get to the Bulls page to bring up Buzelis' stats. Sorry. Again, we're talking about a guy that is still not even weighing in at 200 pounds yet. Okay, I guess I should just went to Basketball Reference in the first place. Sorry. I mean, like, he's shooting 58% from 2-point range this season. Like, that's pretty good. For a guy in a sophomore season, and is like, he's still kind of raw in some aspects. Like, this is pretty good. Now imagine if you get this 3-point percentage like up to like 37-38%, like you're talking about a very efficient overall player. Need to up the free throw percentage a little bit, but yeah, like we're talking about a very efficient player. Jabari Smith Jr. Jabari is a little bit also like I guess he does maybe get some blocks, but like this is honestly like a decent comp, but like I think Jabari is just a little bit more off ball, right? Then like I think Buzelis is probably gonna be like, I think Buzelis is probably gonna be a little bit more on ball than Jabari Smith Jr. Can handle the ball better than him already. And again, I don't think he's gonna be shooting 43% from the field. Like Buzelis is already not shooting that this season. Like he's shooting 48% from the field this season. So I don't really expect that to like go much lower if it does go lower. Like he won't be shooting that lower percentage. So the numbers though, like the raw box score, like I can kind of see some similarities, right? Like rebounds per game, like I can maybe see Buzelis getting here. Attempting 6 threes per game for sure. If he shoots like 35%, okay. This number will be higher. And I also think this number might be just a squeaky bit higher, like a little bit. But this number will also be higher as well, the blocks per game. So like, yeah, it'd just be like more efficient Jabari Smith Jr. with more shot blocking ability, I guess. Is the way that I look at Buzelis. But again, if like we're then if he does like kind of hit these marks that I'm looking for, like then we are kind of talking about like all-star caliber. Like I do think it is there. I don't think it's superstar caliber, if you're wondering. I don't think it's like Jason Tatum level or Durant or even some of the other fours in this league level, right? It's not Kawhi Leonard level, but it is potentially all-star level if he's averaging 20 points per game, like 7 rebounds, 1.5 blocks, maybe even higher, right? Good efficiency overall. Like, I mean, Buzelis shooting 48% already this season is insanely good. Like, this shows that his 2-point ability is very solid. He's just, you know, he does take a lot of threes because he's kind of relegated to just kind of be the standstill shooter for some stupid reason. And he's, even with like not the best 3-point percentage, like he's still already pretty efficient as a player. Yeah, it would be great if he could get up to 50%, but asking Matas Buzelis to shoot 50% from the field in his second season is utterly ridiculous. But I can definitely see him like next season though. Like if he shoots like 49% next season, increases the 3-point percentage and can increase his 2-point percentage just a little bit. Like, yeah, I think that is definitely doable. This is with Buzelis like missing some shots. Like we've seen him like miss some layups and I'm like, oh, you should have probably made that. And I'm like, yeah, this looks good. You look at any advanced stats, I do look at some, but I'm not like the biggest like advanced stats nerd. Like there are people that only look at advanced stats, and like I feel like those people are just they're weird. But yeah, advanced stats, like when we look at NBA RAPM, like I'm very much aware like this is like the place for advanced stats right now. And don't get me wrong, I look at this. Like I do look at Raptor. Like I also look at LeBron. There's one metric that is called Mamba. This is the one, at least with like what I've looked at certain players. Like this is the one that I probably agree with the most. It's just kind of like how they rank guys. Is like, for example, I'm gonna do this guy because unfortunately this is just one of those players that just is like the advanced stats don't love him. Like when it comes to Giddey, right? Raptor doesn't like him. They still think he's like an overall net negative in impact. RAPM is not that high, but like even like LeBron, Darko are just like, they're basically just kind of saying like, yeah, he's just kind of okay. He's not an all-star, but he's not a superstar by anywhere close to it. Like this is your guy leading your offense. You're basically just mid. His 5-year outlook is these 5-year RAPM stats though just doesn't make much sense to me because it's like this is basically Giddey's 5th year. It doesn't make any sense. Now Mamba, like I do look at this and I'm like, okay, like yeah, he was negative in his first years. Like okay, now I don't believe this is counting like this Mamba stat. I don't believe this is counting this season. Maybe I'm incorrect here, but I don't believe it's counting this season. But like last season though, I think was probably Giddey's best season. And so you see like, hey, like, yeah, it's like, you know, it's somewhere. RAPM though, as you see here, like it still says that Giddey's like bad. Like he is overall just a negative. Which like, I don't fully agree with this though. Like I don't think he's negative 1.8. Like I think he's like at least he's like, at least in my opinion, he's like a 0. But I could be wrong. Like I've been hella critical of Giddey. Like I've been called the Giddey hater, everything. But like even I'm giving him his due diligence, and like he's done really well this season, I feel like. Now is it all-star caliber? No. If the people that want him to go to the all-star game think he deserves it, I disagree with that. But as he become a quality star in this league, yeah, I think he has. You prefer EPM? EPM is also a little bit interesting. I don't fully love EPM. Like you're talking about dunks and threes, right? Like you're talking about this website. He'd probably be a superstar, but it won't happen with Billy. I, as much as I think, like, yeah, I agree that Billy is like, I hate how Billy has handled Buzelis all season long. I feel like he's done horribly with him. But what I say is that, like, I do think Buzelis might have superstar potential in him, but I'm also like very much aware that like it's lower than like Darren Peterson. Like Darren Peterson, at least for what I've seen, is like he has like true superstar potential. Like, just to be clear. But if Buzelis just turns into a very quality starter, then I'm going to be happy no matter what. Got to watch Wagler drop 46 for Illinois earlier today. That was at the Bulls game. What a day for Illinois sports fans. Hey, that's an awesome day, Britt. First and foremost, thank you for checking in to the stream. Obviously, it is a big night. But yeah, that's a fun day for you. RAPM data regularizes over time with new data, so it's not as reliable in early seasons. I agree with that overall. Yeah, I don't love the RAPM stats, but the problem is though is that even with like for Giddey, for example, like, correct me if I'm wrong. Sorry, I'm forgetting your name. Smelly Garbage Fluids. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but like, LeBron doesn't do that, right? Like, LeBron isn't like it's not like averaging over seasons, right? Like, it just kind of shows like it's just per season basis. Or maybe I'm wrong about that. Oh, did you get an ad? Shit. Sorry. I thought I turned off ads. Yeah, dunks and threes. Yeah, so this is dunks and threes. This is EPM. This is basically estimated plus minus, and then there's expected estimated plus minus, and then there's actual. Okay. And like, yeah, I do think that it's a pretty overall like solid kind of feature, but like, let's just be real with ourselves, right? Like Anthony Edwards being like on par with what Sam Merrill has done this season does not make any sense, right? Now I understand it's like kind of based off of like role, right? Like Sam Merrill in his role has been like a very impactful player this season, but like Anthony Edwards is very clearly a more impactful and better player than Sam Merrill, right? It's like, let's just be real. It's just the truth. And unfortunately, I do think that like these stats, like I do think like PRA is like heavily valued in this, when I feel like that some players that may not really offer, like, they don't really maybe offer like rebounds and assists, like, I still think they have impact. I know maybe some people don't, but like, I do think that there are some players still that like they might not get like the most like rebounds or assists, but like they're still having some impact out there. Wait, sorry. Oh, alright, sorry. EPM is based on stints? Really? I did not know that. Okay, I my bad. I thought it was like based off of like your overall like usage. It's like we're going off of like these numbers of like, okay, like, well, what's your usage percentage and everything, and like what's your like, overall impact with your usage. Just look at PRA. It works backwards with the assumption that winning players that win their minutes, are what makes good players, not counting stats. Right, but then what is it then with why is Anthony Edwards like on par with Sam Merrill? Like, explain that to me, right? Wondering, by the way, I still haven't seen a bull. I think the highest is Giddy, right? There he is. Kobe White, Josh Giddy. Here, 85th percentile. I'll get advanced stats, start with raw plus minus data. Then Mark Cuban and his statistics professor developed adjusted plus minus, and it grew from that and incorporated regularization, which is a Bayesian statistic. Okay, you have to explain this sort of stuff as if I'm dumb, because like I've done my own research, but very clearly I haven't done enough research, because like I don't look at these every day, right? I'm definitely a little bit more like with some of the traditional stats, but some people claim they're advanced. I don't claim they're advanced. But like, what is it then with EPM? If like, are we just going off of just, okay, you're on a winning team, and in your minutes, like you're a positive raw plus minus, like that just leads to just, yep, you're winning, you're positive in EPM all of a sudden. Is that what we're doing? Or are we going off of like, no, like someone could be an actual impactful player on their team, but the team just sucks? Like, are we still accounting for that? Basically, it had like 4 to 5 levels of massive improvement for where advanced stats started. That makes sense. Yeah, I expected that from the NBA. It should be that way. Because I know like there was like PER, for example, like that there was that stat. I forgot you have to do that. Yep. That's what I always get hit with. Its fullest extent, current extent with master's degree level math to calculate which players are best. EPM also used play data, shot, location data, deflections. Okay. I've never seen that full out equation though, so I'll have to go research my own time when it comes to this, like, to this equation. It's like, for example, like, I mean, maybe I need to like go on like previous years, but like Desmond Bain is like a 0.6. That doesn't make any sense to me. Like, this is the sort of stuff that like I kind of get all like tripped up about when it comes to like advanced. Is like, this to me doesn't make any sense. Like, he's a better player than being 0.6. Like, I understand it's like 75th percentile, but like he's a better player than that, in my opinion. And Miles Turner being here, I will say Miles Turner's had like a kind of a down year. I will say. I know Zubac is also kind of struggled, but like this also just doesn't make any sense to me. Like Jaren Jackson Jr. being here also doesn't make sense to me. Like, there's like certain things that it's just like. There are certain things that like really like when I look at some of these stuff, I look at like these stats of like how they list guys, and I'm just like, I just heavily disagree with what. Now granted, here's the thing. I understand that like in baseball, like with WAR, like wins above replacement, like that was something that a lot of people were trying to like kind of figure out and be like, oh, like, well, what is it? Is it actually like true value? Now, in baseball though, like every single thing that is done is recorded, right? You ground out, you pop out, you hit a home run, like it's all recorded, right? There's specific like outcomes in baseball when it's like in basketball, like you can honestly do nothing, right? Not shoot on the possession, but like your just overall gravity is like impactful, right? Which is like, I understand like that's like kind of what people are trying to like get at. It's just like, how do you measure something that's like, it's not like literal like impact that it can be written down as like, oh, this player did this and like therefore they had impact. It's like, no, it's like, it's just part of on the basketball court where like they do something that is not part of the box score at all, but it's still impactful. Which I understand like this is all what they're trying to figure out. So does it strengthen the opponent, strengthen the teammate home versus away, etc. Okay. If Jordan ranks anything designed, don't know how they'll affect him for the remainder of the season. Oh, interesting, honestly. Actual is based on the current results of his minutes. It's not a reflection of how good they are. It's a reflection of how good they have been. Does that make sense? Hold on. So you're saying that like, okay, actual has just basically said like, okay, what they've done this season of like just like more raw, like, okay, when the numbers, when they've been on the court this season, this is what has happened. Therefore, it's like this is just what has truly been the outcome for their play, right? Expected though is basically explaining is like it's not necessarily about the outcome, right? Versus like, you know, they could be playing like phenomenally, but like the team that they're facing is just has a freaking ball magnet going on that night. And they're still playing phenomenally, but it's just that, you know, they lost their minutes because the opponent just has a ball magnet going on. Like, that's what this is saying. The gravity is impactful while showing a score consistent with many different teammates and opponents, so we'll still value that player. But let me put it to you this way: like, where would someone that's like a good shooter, that is just like, you know, solid overall player, good shooter though, that has some gravity but doesn't have gravity like Steph Curry, okay, is like, they're not like a Kyle Korver or Duncan Robinson, but they're like still a good shooter. Like, where are they gonna fall on this list? But they're just on a bad team. Right? Like, I feel like it's like extremely difficult to like measure that overall. Last year, Jokic started his season with like 10 awful games. We know that they aren't awful players. Actual would show them as awful for the season, but expected would still think they're great. But why though? Like, if you're playing awfully for the season, right? Then what are we're going off previous data to be like, oh, this is what we expect from them. I mean, it's that's simple, right? Is it just it's just based off previous info of how great they've been before, right? That's what the expected is. Over time, they're expected to go down. They kept playing back. Okay, so we are going off of based off previous info of how these players are. So tell me then this: if I'm looking to like just for this season alone, right? If I'm looking to try to evaluate a player's level of play for just this season alone, right? Then I should be going to actual, right, and seeing how they've played for this season, correct? Like, we go to, like, this is the 2025-26 season. APM is calculated by every shot that they have missed from where who was on the core versus as teammates and defender who got the rebound, steals, blocks, etc. Every single recorded play take into account. The recent performances are value higher than older. I mean, that makes sense. Then I should be looking then at like this season actual EPM, right? As like, here's if I'm trying to evaluate for how well Josh Giddey has played this season, right? Then I'm going here to this specific tab right now. I'm at the anything. My knowledge of statistics is much more compared to yours than the creators of stats like these. Click the About tab and explains much more better than I can. Okay, got it. I understand. I mean, sorry. I apologize for all the questions. It's just like, this is just a lot to read through, and I've skimmed through it, and I'm just like, okay. There's just a lot going on here. So. I've seen this, but yeah. I'll have to take a time that, to like really dive in. It's just like my day is like dedicated to understanding why certain things are the way they are. Like that's how I have to understand certain numbers. It's just like, well, why the hell is it like this, and what's the calculation specifically to like get to this sort of conclusion, right? Is like the way that I personally look at some of this stuff, like I do like kind of consider this as just like, okay, I have my view of a player, right? And then there's other stats that show certain things. But then I basically then use this as just like, okay, well, what are like these different equations kind of view certain players? And so like when I look at this, for example, it's just like, okay, yeah, like it makes sense that like SGA, Nikola Jokic, and Giannis, and Wembanyama, Kawhi, these are guys that make sense to be up here, Luka, etc. But then it's just like it's so interesting to me that it's like I'm like looking through this and I'm like, huh. Well, I mean, like I know like Zach Edey is not as valued as like a Kevin Durant, for example, right? Like at the end of the day, if I'm choosing between Zach Edey or Kevin Durant, I am picking Kevin Durant, right? But according to this, right, it's like Zach Edey has technically been more valuable than Kevin Durant this season. Yeah, like Sam Merrill is like on par with Anthony Edwards. It's just like I don't get that. Fully. It's so weird to me. Now, look, I think Keita has had a great year, but you know, like him over guys like Jaylen Brown or Devin Booker, Bam Adebayo is just weird to me. Now, look, I do think that when it comes to my ability to evaluate players, I'm not like the best. I don't think I'm the best at all. I think that I have room to grow and stuff to learn when it comes to this sort of stuff. But as much as like these stats are available, I also do think that the traditional stats that I look at, and then obviously watching the games, like there's nothing more valuable than that when it comes to this sort of stuff. This did though, like when I first came across this page, which was I think about a year and a half ago, this was weird to me. I was just like, I was looking at it, I'm just like, huh, like they really do value like certain guys. Centers that rebound at a higher rate, but are also extremely efficient from the field, but don't score a lot. Very highly rated, right? These are guys that like are higher rated than I thought that they would be. And so it took me a time to just kind of be like, huh, like there, like this, it was definitely kind of like my change in like how I view efficiency. Like I used to really not value efficiency like that much, but like I understood like it was important, like, you know, not to like, you know, shoot like terribly from the field, but like I wasn't like, you know, as like cognizant of like, okay, like 3-point shots, you know, are extremely important, and you know, making sure that if a player is going to have the basketball a lot in their hands, like their efficiency is important. But the way that like I think like this sort of like equation like kind of values certain things, it's like I don't fully 100% get it. Because it to me it's just like if your equation is coming to the conclusion that like Zach Edey is more impactful than Kevin Durant, or has had has estimated higher wins than I guess Kevin Durant, I guess, like I don't really fully get it, honestly. Or I guess that's not the case, but like your EPM is like weird. It's Kevin Durant has higher estimated wins, obviously, but it just, yeah, I don't fully understand. It's like Jamal Murray has had a phenomenal season, but yeah, like why is Edey here? That's just all I'm gonna say. Best basketball player helps their team score and helps their team keep the other team from scoring. The final score of the game is what decides the win score is number in basketball. I get that, right? But I also just think that if we're like you say that, right? And then it's just like, okay, well, why aren't we just using like just raw plus minus then? Like we could go ahead and do that, just do that then. But that's not what this is, right? This is a full out calculation of like, okay, well, yeah, this player though played really well though, right? But they still, maybe when they're on the floor, they're like a minus raw plus minus 20, but they still played really well. That's not their fault, and this is what's taken into account, right? Like that's what this is taking into account right now. So like, for example, like, we'll just, because like we'll use this guy, maybe. Correct me if I'm wrong, because like maybe I'm just completely underestimating Brandon Miller, but I do not think he has a positive plus minus, does he? Oh, he does actually. Wow. Okay, this is actually really shocking, man. I did not realize that he himself is a raw plus minus. But when I look at just his raw numbers, I'm just like, what the fuck is this? Like, a 42% from the field from my shooting guard / small forward is just like, that's not good to me, you know. I don't really find that really too great, but that's where we're at. He's only played 11 games, but if we're taking again, the part that like bothers me the shit out of me when it comes to this sort of stuff is just like if you're saying that, oh well, it's only 11 games though, I'm like, shouldn't this take into account that like we should be taking into account the amount of games that someone's playing. Like this isn't saying like, oh, in the last 10 games. This is saying that for the 2025-26 season, that in Zach Edey's 11 games, right, he's been better than Kevin Durant in his games has been. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. Now that you don't agree with what your preconceptions about how good players are means the metric is bad, then what's the point in creating the metric? No, I'm not saying that there's not a point to this. I'm just saying that I need to like fully like dive into this exact equation and fully understand what I'm looking at, okay? And then take what this equation is looking at and versus my own preconceptions of how players are. And I will take into account this information. But at the same time, when I'm looking at this information, I'm saying to myself that this player is ranked higher than this player, and in my head, it makes absolutely no damn sense, right? And I think that I have a right to kind of question that. So it's then I'm trying to like understand like, why is it this way? Why is a certain player rated so highly and this player is not rated as highly? And I'm looking at this player as like, no, like they're like a two-way impactful player that also like gives like, you know, stuff in the box score and everything. I don't fully understand. Like, again, I understand that's not, there was not enough time in each day for me to just like understand this overnight. I'm just simply saying though that like, I think going off of this only as like your end all be all, as like, this is how we do it, as some people do on Twitter, as like they basically take advanced stats and they're just like, oh yeah, my determination is that what the advanced stats say, which is free for everybody. Yeah, it said this says this player is bad. Okay, this player is bad, and it's just like, that's not the case. It just isn't. We can't only just say that this is the end all be all, and everything that this model says, or what RAPM says, or what Darko says, or what LeBron says, or Mamba says is like, that is the way, right? Edey in his 11 games was more efficient than KD, was the best rebounder and top shot blocker in the league, and he won his minutes. That's not how good he is, but how good he's been. Okay, again, no. So it's how good he has been in his last 11 games, right? My point of just saying is that it's technically flawed with how they're showing this, because it's basically saying, at least this is just how I looked at this, right? Like, for example, in baseball, the WAR, it takes into account games played, okay? This is very clearly not doing that, and you're telling me that, and I understand that. But this model right now says that the estimated plus minus is basically saying that, like, yeah, Kevin Durant is worse than Zach Edey right now. Now, I get what you're saying, right? I get that you're saying it's like, well, in 11 games, Zach Edey played like this well, and Kevin Durant in his, you know, however many games he's played, obviously has played this well. So you take what Kevin Durant has done in his large amount game sample size versus Zach Edey's 11 game sample size, and this is the number you get to, okay? I understand that, but that's not what I think we should be looking at fully. Like, we need to take account into actual games played. That's what I think should be looking at. But that's not what this says, though, right? This just specifically says the 2025-26 season. So you're gonna have to just base off of this is like, understand, right, that this number isn't based off of fully of, okay, what's your overall accumulated like impact for the season from the games that you've been playing. It's, oh, well, it's overall how you've played in the games that you have been available for. This is the number that you get. And I'm just like, okay, well, That's weird as hell to me, but sure, we can go ahead and do this then. That's the way we're going to be doing this. And still, though that Zach Edey was the best shot blocker in this league and was extremely efficient, are you taking him over Kevin Durant? Yes or no? Answer me that question right now. Yeah, there are definitely some things that I don't fully understand when it comes to this sort of model. Because I don't take actual EPM face value. Right, which is my point. That's just basically the point I'm trying to get to. Well, let's look at this stat, because you told me to look at this stat, because I was just looking through it, just like kind of like comparing like each player to like the estimated wins and everything. I'm just like, wow, like there's just so many like weird things to me. Like Julian Champetti is higher than Alperen Sengun. Wait, what? Also, then who was it? Dyson Daniels is higher than Josh Giddey. Is just like, that's crazy to me. But it just shows how bad Giddey's defense is, and like Dyson Daniels' defense is just like so damn good that he can shoot like 11% from 3-point range, and it just like doesn't matter. Wait, sorry, wait, where is he? Maybe I read it wrong. No, I didn't. No. Yeah. Dyson Daniels is here, but he's shooting 10% from 3-point range and like 62% from the field. Or sorry, from the free throw line. But it's like his steal percentage is like the best ever, or not the best ever, but like very extremely high. And you know, assist percentage is like still pretty good overall, but he's like not the best from at the rim. True shooting percentage is god awful due to his terrible 3-point percentage. His efficiency is this, but just because of his steals and everything, he has a higher overall estimated wins, and is just barely below when it comes to, or no, he has a better EPM as well. Like that to me is like it's just kind of the way that like I have to like evaluate this sort of stuff, and I'm like, like yeah, I don't fully agree with this. I feel like Dyson Daniels has been a much worse player than Giddey has this season. Yeah, I'll take the time when it comes to this sort of stuff. Not better, but it's the best available to people currently. NBA teams pay entire teams to develop their own metrics, which are way better. Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if they. I mean, maybe not the Bulls. Like, I don't know if they would have the best overall advanced stats and whatever. I know NBA Index has their own advanced stuff as well, which is pretty important stuff that you have to pay for. But I assume definitely that a lot of teams have their own advanced stats department. Yeah, cameras that record from 3 angles to create 3-dimensional models, and they track way more than play-by-play data. I understand that. Like, I know that like that sort of tracking has been around. But yeah, this though is definitely, I'd have to look into this a little bit more to like kind of gauge like what exactly I should be getting out of this at the end of the day. Because like, for example, like right now, like it's just so interesting to me because it's like, you know, people are claiming like, okay, well this player is this or this player is this, and it's like people are gonna say that like Josh Giddey's been like infinitely better than Montes Buzelis this season, but it's just like their estimated wins overall are just like they're almost identical. Now I know that Giddey's missed some time, but their estimated EPM is like, you know, it's like 0.8 difference. That's like not that big of a difference, right? And like what basically the way I take that is like, okay, well either I'm valuing too much of what Giddey does, and that's saying something because again, like I've been labeled a Giddey hater, or I'm underestimating what Montes Buzelis has done, and I've been very much right about how impactful he's been. And people just don't want to exactly give me that sort of credit. That people are like, no, he's bad this or whatever. Like people get pissed off at how Buzelis plays, and I'm just like, I don't know what to tell you. Been pretty good to me. I'm just interested in this because we can't. Command F doesn't work. No, it does. Wait, so oh, does it have to like actually like be on like this? I see. Where's Trey Jones? I'll do this maybe in my off time or something, but I want to see where Trey Jones is on this because he to me has played really well. I just don't know how the stats would look, or this would look at him, because he doesn't really shoot the 3-point shot. Like I saw where Io was, and it's just like, okay, well, like it doesn't like really love what Io does. It's just he's like 0.5. The Trey Jones, you don't see, and maybe I'm just blind. I might just be blind. Hold on. I'm not going to pay money, by the way, for this. There's no way. There he is. Okay. He's 0.5 as well. Okay. Good to know. Why is Vucevic so high? So Vucevic is a great mid-range shooter. Defensive rebounding, which okay. Low turnovers. Just he's like, okay. Rim percentage isn't the best though, so hence why he's only 1.4 offense. -1 defense though is quite intriguing to me. It's just like, yeah, he's not like the worst defender, I guess. Is there one actually? Thank you. All right, Well, good to know. I guess according to this model, the Bulls have basically just gotten a team together of 1.0 EPM or just barely lower. And just like you're just barely positive, I guess. What a great team, and it's somehow resulted into a above 500 team so far, or at least today. Don't think that's gonna last for much longer though. You'll end up seeing. Yeah. I appreciate you taking the time. Garage Fluids, I appreciate you taking the time to explain everything to me. Yeah, I have a lot to think about though when it comes to this sort of stuff, because like I've been using mostly this as like advanced stats. I look at this like maybe once a month, this exact page. But I've been looking at this a lot because a lot of people have been posting these a lot on Twitter. And I kind of like screw around with like certain things. But I'll be taking my time to look more in depthly. It might have to be maybe next season that I kind of like heavily dive into it, but either way though, I still think like there's obviously like counting stats, advanced stats, but then you need to do everything with the eye test at the end of the day. So that's what I'm going to be keeping up with moving forward from here on out. Nothing beats that in my opinion. But again, I sincerely appreciate you explaining this all to me, the EPM stuff, and what exactly I should be looking for. Because, yeah, I need to get more well-versed in this sort of area of the NBA advanced stuff. With that being said, though, let's talk about the next game for the Bulls. Again, thank you so much for explaining that sort of stuff to me. All right, not a lot of people aren't exactly here anymore due to me just looking at stats for like an hour. All right, Bulls versus Lakers on Monday. Okay, Luka is going to come into town. Only time we're going to be seeing Luka at the United Center, so if you want to go and watch Luka in person in Chicago, go ahead and do that. All right, this is, I think I gave the Bulls, honestly, I think they could win. Lakers defense isn't that good. I think the Bulls pace is gonna give the Lakers some issues, and I do think that the Bulls could be able to run this team out of the gym, because Lakers want to play slow with Luka at the helm and obviously LeBron and his old age. They don't have the defenders out there, so they don't want to get into like a track meet against anybody. So if the Bulls can find a way to push it, they, I think, have a good chance, honestly, to beat this team. So, we'll see how this game is going to go. I will say, though, my biggest kind of thing I'm looking at is, like, who the hell is guarding Luka in this game? It's probably going to be Isaac Okoro, which that means maybe Matas is on LeBron. I don't really know, but all I know is that LeBron's going to try to come in and, like, try to put up a performance because it's Chicago, and LeBron always wants to do that. So, last game he sold, which we saw was the Josh Giddey half-court game winner. LeBron sold in that game, so I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of make a big prediction that LeBron's not gonna sell like he did in the previous game last season. So, he's old, but he still can find ways to be impactful at the end of the day. All right. However, when it comes to this game, I tried to get to this announcement earlier, but we got into trade talks and advanced stats. My schedule is changing now that we're officially into like the spring semester in school. For me, my schedule is changing, and unfortunately, when it comes to my schedule for school, I have to make a change here for my content on this channel. So unfortunately, I hate to be saying this, but when it comes to Mondays, if there's a Bulls game on Monday, basically I'm not going to be covering it. I unfortunately have a class that is right smack dab in the middle of like when Bulls games are, and so the class doesn't get out until like 9:15 p.m. anyway, and so basically this game would be over at 9:15 p.m. at anyway. So that means I'm going to be missing no matter what, at least the first 3 quarters or longer when it comes to Bulls games that start at 7, or even a Bulls game like start at like 6, or 8, I should say. Like I'm still gonna be missing at least like the first half. So Now I did have a look at like the Bulls' schedule, in a sense, moving forward, but I didn't see like too many Mondays, but I'll have to go and like look again. But they're obviously Mondays because the NBA usually plays on Mondays a lot. So basically though, from here on out, for at least for the rest of this season, assuming the Bulls somehow don't make it to the finals, or yeah, around there, I guess. Basically though, I will not be covering Bulls games at all on Mondays anymore. At least for the rest of this season. That's going to change obviously next season, but I'm in the spring semester officially for my schoolwork, and so this class is on Monday nights. So unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to cover games anymore that go on Monday nights. Even if, let's say, for example, someone like the Bulls are like on a West Coast trip or something, so like I don't know if maybe one of these are Mondays. I can maybe quickly check here. No, actually, it seems like. Okay. But anyway, like even if like there is like a late like West Coast game that the Bulls are on a Monday night or something, the game like might start like 9:30 or whatever, which it doesn't seem like that's gonna be the case. But even if that was the case, I still wouldn't be covering Bulls games on Mondays, unfortunately. So that is gonna be the change, though. Unfortunately, I'm not happy about it. Like, let me be clear. I was like, no way. Like, I didn't want to do this. I tried to figure out a way not to do this, but I have to do this. So, as much as I love this channel, as much as I love doing this sort of content, my future career is just like, that's a bigger priority. Like, this is like the side kind of thing for me. Again, I love this. Like, if I could do this for a living, I would 100% choose this. But I have to obviously get my priorities straight and to go ahead and take this class for me to hopefully be successful in life, because so far I have not been. So yeah, I have to go ahead and do this. It's going to be a big accounting class for me, as I'm studying accounting right now. And unfortunately, it's only available at this point. So that is the big announcement. I'll be posting in the community tab probably like Monday during the day. For anyone that is not here, obviously, but yeah, I'm sad about it. I'm missing Bulls games, and then I'm obviously not covering it and not talking about the games with you guys, which is it absolutely it hurts me. I've made like 2 exceptions this season for not watching a Bulls game, which was when the Bears were playing in both their playoff games. Like that was like the only 2 games that I have missed this season. And like usually that's not the case. Like I usually do anything in my willpower to not miss these games at all. Like I will schedule anything around these Bulls games, like everything possible. Unfortunately, it's just I can't do that with this time. So yeah, moving forward, no Monday night streams, no Monday night coverage for me. And so I'll be catching up with you guys the next time the Bulls play, and it's not on Monday nights basically. So that is the update, unfortunately. And unfortunately, this means that in the next game, I will be missing this next game. I hate it because I love Luka. Okay, you have no idea how much this hurts me, guys. Like, I am an NBA just junkie that loves watching any NBA basketball, but also I don't miss a Bulls game. And then to also then miss when Luka Doncic is in town, like I legit want to like crush something just even thinking about it. But at least the recording's there. I cannot stand this, but it is what it is. But this next game though, so I gave my little preview. Again, no stream on Monday. So I'll be seeing you guys next time. I believe it is Tuesday? No, it's Wednesday. Okay. So Bulls then are gonna have they're gonna be in Indiana on Wednesday, back to back then on Thursday against Miami, and then we're gonna go to Miami for 2 back-to-backs. So that's gonna be fun. I think I'm gonna be missing one of those Miami games if I'm not mistaken, right? Oh no, I won't. Okay, cool, awesome. All right, a lot of games coming up for the Bulls. They have, what is it tonight? It's so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. God. Okay. Yeah, that's basically 5 games in 7 nights. That's disgusting. Okay, cool. Good luck to the Bulls with that. Wait, sorry, no, did I count that right? Oh, sorry, wait, it's one, two, three, 4, 5. Ew. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's 5 games in 7 nights. Okay. That is disgusting. I despise that. So, hopefully no one gets injured when I'm gone or anything like that, but again, no streams moving forward. So, thank you guys all for tuning into this big night. Obviously, we are celebrating Derrick Rose tonight. Big shout out to D Rose. Glad number 1's officially up in the rafters and no one's ever gonna touch it ever again. Big overall night. Glad to see a lot of the former Bulls were in the house. Great overall ceremony, and the Bulls won. So, honestly, couldn't have been any better, and the Bulls won on a game winner, which obviously Derrick Rose has done many of those in a Bulls uniform. So, next game is against LA. You guys get to watch Luka. I don't, live. And we'll see how the Bulls fare. They might get wrecked, or they might be winning, which I think they should be winning that game, honestly. But next time I'm going to see you guys, though, it's going to be a little bit. It's going to be on Wednesday after the Bulls take on the Pacers in Indiana. So 6 p.m. Central Time game, 8:30 p.m. Post-game stream on this channel. And then we'll have a back-to-back to talk about with you guys. So sorry about this. Again, hate to be missing time, but it is what it is at this point. If Austin is out, like our odds more, Austin is out, I believe. I don't think we've gotten any sort of indication that Austin's going to be coming back anytime soon, right? Like, am I mistaken for that? I'm blind, clearly. Sorry. There he is. Oh, okay. Well, this is news that we got actually today. So, but still nothing that says that he's going to be back or anything like that for Monday, but we'll see. But I'm going to assume he's out. I'd be shocked if he is playing. So yeah, I do think that there's a good chance the Bulls actually win on Monday. So you guys enjoy that game. Again, I'll be back on Wednesday, and we'll get to talk then. All right, y'all. It's been a great night overall. Happy for D Rose. Yeah, pretty insane overall magnet ball the Bulls have been on recently. It's been pretty cool to see. And I'll see you guys when the Bulls take on the Pacers then on Wednesday, all right? Thank you guys for the support all season long. It truly means a lot. I'll see you on Wednesday. All right, everyone be safe. Peace.